Did you choose right? Was it worth what you're going to lose? You can't escape what I made you. You never had a real choice. Not really. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? Hello, my name is Haley Whipjack. You can call me Haley, you can call me Whipjack, you can call me whatever you'd like, as long as you're angelic about it. And we are here to continue our journey wherein Castiel is the only character in Supernatural. This is part 2. If you didn't watch part 1 that covered seasons 4 through 7, I'd recommend you do that first. This video, we're going through our favorite angels, trials, and tribulations from seasons 8 through 11. Prior to this experiment, I only ever watched through season 10. I'm about to wade into unknown waters, and I'm so scared for my boy. We're gonna be tracking all the same things as before: allies, enemies, current mission, death count, because he will never know rest. He's not allowed. That's what happens when you carry the whole show on your back. Before we get too stuck in, I do just want to remind you that if you wish you could have seen this video early and in pieces as I was making it, you could have. You just would have had to be on my Patreon, baby. Patreon.com/Haley Whipjack. You would also be getting extra videos every month. Anywho, Castiel, the only guy here. He just defeated the Leviathans and was immediately sent to purgatory alongside his righteous man. Now what? Yes, I got all dressed up for this segment and it was 2 minutes long. Can you blame me? Our boy was sent to purgatory alongside righteous man Dean Winchester. And, fun little perk of purgatory, Castiel's noodle is put back in order. If you'll recall last season, his whole brain was a little scrambled eggs, brain made of bumblebees. But now, that's our full Castiel, baby! And because he's completely mentally sound, honestly, the picture of mental health and wellness, Castiel quickly realizes that all of the monsters here in Purgatory and Monster Afterlife are going to be attracted to Dean's humanity like a moth to the flame, but they are going to be attracted to Castiel's divinity like a moth to a lighthouse. Cass cannot be near Dean. It's putting Dean in danger. So without a word, Castiel just leaves Dean alone and runs off. Not a great move, not very convincing about Cass's newfound mental wellness, because Dean Winchester has never let somebody go quietly, and he certainly isn't going to do it here and now in Monster Hell when you didn't even tell him you were safe. Idiot. Freak. That guy's gonna come look for you. A full year passes in Purgatory, and Castiel is alone, defending himself against the monsters that hunt him down, just desperate for a taste of the divine. And it's not fun, and it's not good, but isn't it what he deserves? After what Castiel did in heaven, he slaughtered thousands of angels. He thought himself God, and he didn't even bring peace. He did so much wrong. He unleashed the Leviathan that now stalk him through this gray-toned forest. This clawing and scraping and fighting and hurting, it's a sort of penance. It might even be a kind of justice. The picture of mental health and wellness. Castiel doesn't deserve peace or joy or love. He grows a beard, and eventually, Dean finds him again. After a full year. And Dean has a new friend, a vampire named Benny. He and Dean have linked up here in Purgatory. They've been protecting each other, so they're very close. They're very friendly, and Castiel doesn't really like that guy, because he's a vampire. He's a monster. No other reason.
And this is the crazy aunt I want to take on the road?
I am not your aunt.
What? Really?
I have no possible relationship to your sibling offspring.
Now, you're kidding me.
Oh, you too?
But Benny's got a plan. There's a portal out of Purgatory that he's heard about, rumors. A portal that a human could slip through and get back to the real world, World Prime. Purgatory's not made for humans. It wants to get rid of the human inside of it. And because Benny used to be a human before he was a vampire, he might be able to hitch a ride alongside Dean, and they can both get Out of here. Dean insists that Castiel will get to come along too. And it's really just not worth it to try to sit him down and make him understand that that is not going to happen. Castiel is not, and has never been, a human being. And also, Dean would not understand the penance thing. Well, like, he'd understand it. Like Dean would do it to himself, but he wouldn't accept it from... You understand. They make it to the portal. It's real against all odds. And Dean and Benny prepare for the aforementioned hitching a ride. Dean needs to carry Benny's soul within him, in his veins. He needs to invite Benny to enter him so that Benny's soul can go back to the real world and he can be alive again. So Castiel watches his righteous man absorb a vampire within himself, and they make their final climb to the portal. Castiel knows he's not going through that portal. Even if he could, which he can't, he doesn't want to. Penance, justice, karmic vengeance. But he has to walk all the way to the threshold, because if he doesn't, Dean won't. And Dean deserves to go home. So Castiel walks with him right to the edge, right until it's too late for Dean to turn around. And then he steps back, watches Dean go. Castiel is still in purgatory. It isn't good. It isn't fun. But it is where he's supposed to be. And then, all at once, he isn't in purgatory anymore. He's weak, powered down, tired, and on the side of the road in World Prime. How did he get there? He has no idea. Eventually, Castiel regains enough strength that he can make his way back to Dean. He finds both Winchester boys in a motel room. Yes, Sam is here too, hot on the heels of Castiel's former business partner and king of hell, Crowley. Crowley has been kidnapping prophets, or prophets in waiting. The current prophet of the Lord is Kevin Tran, who Castiel does know and has met, booped his nose last season. But if Kevin were to go kaput, there's a predetermined line of succession, and Crowley has that entire line in hand. Crowley needs a prophet to read the demon tablet. Like how last season there was a Leviathan tablet, now there's a demon tablet. It is a direct transcription of the Word of God and supposedly contains instructions on how to seal off hell forever, trap all the demons inside, and keep them there. Crowley wants to know what those instructions say, wants to know how to do it so he can make sure it never happens. This also means, since there can only be one prophet at a time, that Chuck Shirley is dead. Oh no! Not Chuck. So immediately after Castiel learns all of this, he's just been caught up to speed, Crowley kidnaps Kevin. And then Kevin's mother, Linda Tran, asks the boys for help to get her boy back. They find where Crowley has Kevin held. It's easy, and Dean and Cass are the dream team to go grab the kid, except Dean is really struggling to pick a lock with his silly human hands, so Cass just teleports in alone to confront Crowley. He knows Crowley. Cass bluffs, pretending he's at full power, that he's ready to take Crowley down single-handed, and for once in his eternal life, Castiel successfully lies. It pays off. Crowley flees, going to take the demon tablet with him, but before he can, Castiel snaps it in two. Crowley has half, Team Winchester has half. Dean scolds Cass for being reckless and charging at Crowley alone, and this is where Castiel realizes Dean literally does not remember Purgatory correctly. Dean thinks that he dropped Castiel at the last second. He thinks that Castiel was trying to get through the portal and Dean failed to get him home. Dean could not conceive of the fact that Cass stayed willingly. So Cass assures him, reminds him that it wasn't his fault that Cass was there longer. There is no, forgive the word uses, supernatural explanation for why Dean misremembers this, by the way. Nothing has messed with his head, changed his memory. He just quite literally could not handle the thought of Castiel willingly staying behind and invented an entire new reality in which Dean failed him. Sam interrupts the moment to ask about what comes next, and that moment breaks even further when Castiel blinks and finds himself in heaven, facing a woman at a desk. Her name is Naomi, And she's the one who pulled him out of purgatory. It apparently took a whole team of angels, and they lost some in the process. Just more blood on Cass's hands. She tells Castiel that he will not remember this conversation, but that he is going to be regularly bringing information back to her about the Winchesters. And then he's back on Earth. Like nothing happened. Back in the middle of the conversation he was having with his boys. Naomi does this to him many times throughout the season, where she kind of zaps up his consciousness into heaven, gives him instructions, and sends him back down. But he does not remember those conversations. He does not remember Naomi when he is back on Earth. He just has the instructions kind of as an instinct that he needs to follow. So remember that, I guess, that when he's with Naomi, he remembers. When he's not with Naomi, he doesn't know who that is. So Naomi's instructions were basically to stay near the Winchesters so that he could bring her information, which means Castiel has made a decision. He's going to be a hunter now. He's going to hunt things and save people. The family business, or whatever. He even found them a cool case in Oklahoma where a man's heart leapt out of his body. He's so helpful. Cass is great at this. He is. He's less good at interrogation.
I was being bad cop.
You were being bad at everything. Please forgive my partner. He's going through some stuff. Listen to Sam.
But that's okay. Dean's great at it. Sam is great at it. We all have different skills. Castiel is better at interrogating cats than Dean is, for example, because Dean doesn't even speak cat. To summarize the monster hunt, there's an old psychokinetic man in a nursing home. Psychokinetic meaning he can move things with his mind, and one of the doctors at said nursing home are using that man's wacky aura to turn Earth physics into cartoon logic just long enough to rob the elderly. Just Bugs Bunnying his way through bank robberies. Eventually, once they figured all this out, Castiel takes Sam into the old man's mind so that Sam can try to convince the guy to come back to reality and retake his own power so the doctor will stop doing crimes. The old man agrees, but after the day is saved, the old man laments that his mind is still going to go. It's already going. Psychokinetics are dangerous if they aren't in control of what they can do. At the man's urging, Castiel removes the psychokinetic powers from the man, leaving very little of the vibrant person he once was intact. The man is happy, but largely vacant. Castiel wants to go back to heaven now, to face his own reality, face what he's done. But Naomi says no. She says Cass is not allowed. He's currently grounded. You stay on Earth, young man. So Cass stays to watch after the old man for a while. Just watches the Winchesters go about their life. Until Naomi summons Castiel for a task. He works for her. I guess another angel has been kidnapped by Crowley, an angel named Samandriel, in the body of a young man wearing a fast food uniform. He's a cute kid. He's a cute kid, and so much of the episode is spent with this cute kid being so graphically tortured and screaming and crying. Oh, it's so hard to watch. Also, I think the vessel's supposed to be like 19 or 20. He's not like a kid, but yeah, he's a cute kid. Also, I haven't put Naomi into allies or enemies at the moment because I think technically she's both. Castiel is going to need some help saving Samandriel and fulfilling his orders, so who does he grab? Who else but Dean Winchester? Sam isn't there. When he goes to grab Dean and Sam are fighting. It doesn't matter right now. They're always fighting about something else while Cass is trying to do very important things. Cass and Dean figure out where Samandriel is being held, following the strange signs that surround an angel in extreme distress. He's in a warehouse that is absolutely crawling with demons and absolutely covered in warding sigils that will not let Cass through. Great news. Kevin Tran, little prophet of the Lord, knows a recipe for making demon bombs? Bombs that disintegrate demons? So Cass can just grab all the ingredients, as well as the secret last thing he's looking for, Sam Winchester. He does go find and get Sam. Literally, he does not know what Sam and Dean are fighting about, and he does not care. If he wants to save Samandriel to finally save one angel after ending thousands, his odds are much better if he has both his boys. And yes, he does not know who Naomi is, but he's following Naomi's orders. Naomi's orders is to save Samandriel, so he has reframed it mentally as he just so desperately wants to finally save one angel. It's really sad. Sam and Dean break the sigils on the warehouse and they start taking out demons so Castiel can take the last steps towards Samandriel. But as they get closer, as Samandriel screams in pain, Castiel is mentally bombarded with visions he cannot place. He sees Naomi with a strange drill in hand, leaning towards Castiel's face, his eyes. It's all he can see. It is all he can know in that moment. Castiel collapses under the weight of the visions, leaving Sam and Dean to actually break through the last door and get to Crowley. This gets the torture to stop, at least, and with Samandriel silent, the terrible visions cease, and Castiel can grab his little brother and safely teleport him outside of the demon warehouse, away from Crowley and away from the demon torture doctor. Samandriel was wearing a headpiece full of screws, long metal spikes carefully spun into his skull, into his brain. The screws are gone, the damage can begin to heal, they can go to heaven, and they can fix this, but Samandriel is weak, bleeding, and panicking. He does not want to go back to heaven. He pleads with Castiel, says Cass can't make him go back because Samandriel can't face Naomi, not after what he told Crowley. And Cass says, who's Naomi? Samandriel told Crowley something that he hadn't even known, something that had been locked deep in his programming, his operating system, something Crowley tapped into by drilling inside of him and resetting him to factory settings for a bit. There's not only a Leviathan tablet and a demon tablet. There's an angel tablet too. And now Crowley knows about it. And Naomi knows that Crowley knows. Samandriel begs Castiel to let him go, says that they have been inside his head, that they have been in all the angels' heads, that it's what they do. In heaven, Naomi demands that Castiel kill Samandriel. And on Earth, Castiel does. On Earth, Castiel is bleeding from one eye. He tells Sam and Dean it was self-defense. He brings Samandriel's body to Naomi as requested so she can see how far Crowley dug. Castiel stays in heaven for a while. After that, Naomi has a lot of work to do on him. She digs into him. She pushes him. She forces Castiel to kill a simulacra of Dean Winchester over and over again. A begging, bleeding Dean Winchester until Castiel can kill him with no hesitation. Until it's easy. It takes hundreds of tries. Maybe thousands. But he does it. And it's easy. Naomi has Castiel killing demons and searching for the angel tablet, which leads him right back into the path of the Winchesters. He isn't allowed to tell them about the tablet, but he can lie around it to get their help following leads. He's looking for old crypts that Lucifer once used, because that is most likely where that angel tablet would be stashed. And it turns out the demons are also looking for those same Lucifer crypts. And the demons have a hostage that they believe will help them find that location. The trio, back together, takes out the necessary demons, and they find their hostage, who turns out to be none other than Meg, the demon Meg, who took care of Castiel for months when he was broken apart and helpless, who took his calls and learned his patterns. Meg, who likes Castiel, kissed Cass. That one time, she's been tortured for months, handing out vague half-truths about crypt locations to her captors to try and extend her own life. And she's so relieved to see Cass and the Winchesters. She happily tells them all the truth about the angel tablet. Naomi demands Castiel kill her. She's a demon and a liability. She's telling the Winchesters about the tablet. Castiel insists Meg is useful. If nothing else, Meg does know the location of the crypt. She can lead Castiel to the crypt. Castiel can finally find the angel tablet, and he can bring it to Naomi. Meg can help bring this to Naomi. Meg doesn't have to die. Meg doesn't have to die for this. Naomi relents. Meg can help. Meg doesn't have to die. Meg does help. The group of them get to that crypt. Meg promises when this is over, her and Castiel are gonna order pizza and move some furniture around. It's nice. It's simple, and it doesn't hurt. It's easy to be around Meg. Cass leaves Meg with Sam while he and Dean descend into the actual crypt. Meg is weakened from months of torture, and Sam is weakened because he's doing demon blood stuff again. We haven't had time to get into that. Actually, what Sam is doing is he's following the trials outlined on the demon tablet, the steps to seal off hell. Cass knows very little about all that. He is not involved in this, except that Demon Boy is doing demon stuff again, and it's making him weak. Demon Boy's being a demon liability again. So Meg can protect Sam, and Sam can protect Meg. Cass trusts both of them with each other. It works. Dean and Cass find the angel tablet. Dean has to be the one to actually take it out of its box, as the thing is warded against angels. But then Castiel can have the tablet. He can take it back to heaven, and he can finish his task. He can take the tablet to heaven, finish his task. Dean won't hand it to him. Dean won't let him take the tablet to heaven to finish his task. Dean is not letting Castiel do this. Dean is trying to get in the way of what Cass needs to do. Castiel has practiced for this exact scenario. He beats Dean with his fists, knocks him to the floor, and keeps going. He doesn't want to. He is cursing Naomi's name as he does it, but he does it all the same. Dean has the tablet. Cass needs the tablet. It's easy. He's practiced. And then...
Yes, it's me. We're family. We need you. I need you.
You have to choose, Castiel. Us or them.
And it's like Castiel was never under her control at all. Not when Dean is pleading with him, really there in front of him, begging for Castiel to remember that they're family. Cass shakes out of it long enough to grab the angel tablet. And when he grabs it, he feels that contact snap the strings that Naomi had on him. She cannot call on him. She cannot affect him. Not while he has this. He can't go give it to her. He finally remembers her, remembers what she's done to him. He also can't let anyone else have this. It's the only thing helping him remember. Cass heals Dean. It's the least he can do. And then Castiel leaves. And Dean is alone in the crypt. Nearby, and immediately after, Meg dies at Crowley's hand. She does it to protect Cass, and Castiel won't learn about that for a long time. Good news! Cass finds the perfect place to hide the angel tablet from anyone who may come looking for it. He tucks it deep inside of his human vessel, between the muscles and organs and bones, and he carries it there, where it will keep saving him from Naomi, and where she cannot see the things that God said. He's protecting it from Naomi, from Crowley, from the Winchesters, from everyone. It doesn't take too long for the angels to find him anyway. Naomi and another angel named Ion, who's working for Crowley. So Naomi doesn't actually get to torture Castiel for very long, which is a shame because it's her favorite activity, because Crowley shows up with a gun full of angel bullets made from melted down and reforged angel blades. He's made angel bullets. Naomi leaves. She doesn't want to get hit with an angel bullet, and Castiel takes an angel bullet to the stomach. Great. Awesome. Cass got to have like 4 good days in a row, so this is his payment. They probably weren't even good days. Decent days. Crowley is smarter than Naomi, unfortunately, and he worked with Castiel for a long time. He knows how Cass thinks, and he has no qualms about sticking his arm inside of Castiel's torso to retrieve a large slab of stone. So Cass no longer has the tablet, and Crowley has to bounce to go deal with a Winchester problem, leaving Cass alone with Ion, his brother, now his captor. Ion talks about how he worked in Intel under Naomi for a long time and how he never got the luxury of completely forgetting what happened in there. Boo goddamn who. Cass removes the angel bullet from his stomach and sinks it directly into Ion's eye. Takes care of that problem. Cass once again needs help. Who does he go to? You already know who! He finds Sam and Dean, by which I mean he ends up in front of their car in the middle of the road, asking for help in the world's most pitiful fashion. Like a lost cat. And they bring him home. Like a lost cat. Hey, they've got a home now! The Winchesters have hunkered down in an old bunker used by the Men of Letters, an old secret society. What matters is that means they've got a house, and they're letting Cass recover there. It's a nice place. Even though Dean is tense, upset, it's not like Cass doesn't get it, okay? Castiel lied about the angel tablet, didn't try to get help for the brainwashing that Castiel also didn't really know was happening, almost killed Dean in a crypt. Yeah, Dean has every right to be upset. That doesn't mean Cass has to like it. The Winchesters are trying to figure out how to complete the final demon trial so Sam can seal the gates of hell. The first two, which again, Castiel was not even a little bit around for, were to bathe in the blood of a hellhound, it's always demon blood with this kid, and to save an innocent soul from hell. They saved Bobby Singer, their cool dad, who died. You remember Bobby? He'd gone to hell, even though his soul belonged in heaven, and so Sam righted that universal wrong. The final trial is to cure a demon. Cure them of demonism. But no one knows how to do that, including Cass. Cass also doesn't know how to do that, and Dean does not want his help in finding out. So instead, Cass decides he's going to try to make amends with Dean. He does not like it when Dean is mad at him. So he goes shopping for all of Dean's favorite things. Gonna put together a little gift basket. Got beef jerky, lewd magazines, many cans of alcohol. He's looking for pie. But while he's shopping, Castiel is interrupted by a scruffy old man, or an angel possessing a scruffy old man. And he's not just any angel. That's Metatron, the scribe of God. And Metatron, as the one who wrote all the tablets, doesn't need to have the angel tablet or prophet to tell Cass what it says. It's a tablet to seal heaven, he says, just like how the demon tablet will seal off hell. And Metatron isn't strong enough to complete its trials. He's a librarian. Castiel is a soldier. Cass agrees to help Metatron seal off heaven. If they seal off heaven this way, Castiel's not likely to do well. Locked away with all the other angels, but maybe it'll help get everything sorted out, and at the very least, it'll stop all of the problems from spilling onto Earth. The humans shouldn't have to suffer because of angel family drama, and Castiel shouldn't still be running away from what he did. Just lock everybody up there, we'll all figure it out together. The first trial is to tear out the heart of a Nephilim, a half-angel, half-human, deeply forbidden creature, the product of an angel and a human, falling in love. It's so deeply forbidden that there is only one such creature on Earth. She's a young woman named Jane, working at a restaurant, living a quiet life. She isn't hurting anyone. She hasn't done anything wrong. But she's the only Nephilim. And Metatron, for one, is overtly, openly disgusted at her existence. Castiel does not want to do it. She pleads for her life. She fights for her life when there's no other option. He does it anyway. It's the trial. First trial done. Innocent young woman wiped off the map. Heart retrieved. Cass asks Metatron what their father was like. Cass never got to meet him. Metatron did. Metatron says that he was gruff, larger than life, kind of sexist, but in the end, fair. It's the most Cass has ever gotten to hear about what his dad is like. The next trial is to take a bow from a cupid. There's a lot of cupids. They're a type of angel. There is not just a single Cupid. Metatron points out a man destined to be hit by a Cupid arrow within the day, and just in time, too, because Metatron gets angel napped by Naomi's goons. Cass needs help, so he goes to, guess who? Dean Winchester is at an old abandoned church with his brother Sam. Sam is going to complete the third trial here. They are going to cure Crowley himself of demonism. Sam is not doing well. He's pale and sweaty and shaky and weak. Sam has been going through the torment nexus all season. TBH, he's almost having a worse time than Cass. Not that Cass knows that or cares right now, but Sam can do this, and he can do it on his own. He doesn't need Dean. Cass needs Dean. So Dean, grumpy, reluctant, goes along with Cass. Little Prophet Kevin Tran has the angel tablet. There was a whole shuffle with Crowley earlier. Cass wasn't there. And Castiel needs him to translate that tablet now. He has to know what the third trial is. It only takes a little bit of physical intimidation for the kid to agree to try. And then Cass takes Dean to watch that man that Metatron pointed out, the future Cupid target. They wait at the bar until a woman stops in to make a delivery, and they think, the person this man is going to fall in love with. But almost immediately, the man and the bartender are looking at each other in a whole new way. The man and the male bartender. Dean and Cass watch the Cupid match up the two men in love, and Dean is shocked. Can't be shocked for too long, though. We gotta go get that Cupid. And in the end, she gives her bow willingly. She wants all this angel drama and violence to be over as well. Second trial done. Cass is really good at this trial shit. Kevin calls Dean. This is great news. Kevin's the one who's going to figure out what the third trial is, except that it's Kevin saying that he can't find anything about Cupids or Nephilims on this tablet, just as Naomi appears before them, saying that Metatron is not to be trusted. He's been lying. She dug into his head, so she knows the truth. Naomi wants Castiel to stop aiding him because Metatron isn't going to seal all the angels into heaven. He's going to lock them all out, banish them, make them fall. Cass is not going to believe this woman. He's not going to help this woman, the one who tortured him, who drilled into his eyeballs in his brain, who made him kill the image of Dean Winchester over and over and over and over again. Naomi turns to Dean instead, looking for hopefully the more rational of the two, Dean Winchester, telling him that Sam is going to die if he completes those demon trials. She offers her help. She can help fix this. Cass says absolutely not. Whatever you're offering, take it over there. They don't need Naomi to save Sam anyway. The righteous man can do that all on his own. Cass brings Dean back to the old church, leaving Dean to help Sam, and then Cass returns to heaven, this time of his own free will. He finds Naomi, dead, drill bit through the head, and Metatron, free and relaxed. Naomi wasn't lying. Metatron restrains Castiel to the drill bit torture table, but he isn't here to tear into Cass and rewire him. He just needs the last component of the spell that Castiel's been helping him with. These aren't angel tablet trials. Metatron made all that up. No. Heart of a Nephilim, bow of a Cupid. The third ingredient is an angel's grace. The very divinity that forms them, that powers them. He slashes Castiel's throat and eases out the grace, using him in every way he can. If this has been an exercise in a lack of agency, in being a pawn in games that you've never heard of, this is the accumulation. Metatron tells Castiel to enjoy a human life. Fall in love, get married, have kids, and die. Have every human experience, and then when Castiel returns to heaven the way that mortal souls do, Metatron will find him, because the scribe wants his story. Castiel is back on Earth. He is alone, and it is dark. He has no wings, no grace. He can't connect to the wavelengths of the other angels. He can't try to reach out for the Winchesters. He's completely alone. The one person he thought he was really helping has betrayed him. Sam might be dead. Dean is far away. And the sky lights up. Streaks of light pouring towards the earth. Hundreds. Thousands.
Angels. They're falling.
And that's how season 8 ends. I can't believe Metatron told him to get married. He's literally already married. Does Daphne Allen mean nothing to you? Like when you think his life can't get worse, they find a way. They always find a way. I remember watching the season finale when it came out. The ending hit like drugs. An incredible season finale, honestly. Good season overall, I'll say. Not for Cass, but I mean, you know. Maybe being human will be better for him? Would you believe that being human is actually way worse for him somehow? How does this guy do it? There's angels all over the place. They're not human, not like Cass. They just don't have their wings, so they gotta walk around human style. But they're still strong and full of grace and listening to prayers. Not Cass. Human through and through. Fully deaf to Dean Winchester, frantically praying at him. The first thing that human Cass does is almost get hit by a car. It's a weird trend in his life. Almost getting hit by cars. The guy who almost kills him to death with a car feels pretty bad about it and gives Cass a ride into town, dropping him at a gas station where he can hopefully contact somebody. There, he's recognized by a young woman, an angel recently fallen. I'm very lost. Her name is Hale. Here's a clip that had me considering going by a nickname full-time when I was 13.
You can do this, Hale.
Hale wants to visit the Grand Canyon. It's one of her creations from back in the day. She could really learn to enjoy Earth if given the chance. And Castiel is desperate to finally, actually help an angel. After everything, surely this angel is to be trusted. Also, he does finally contact Dean. Dean has apparently already got a new angel friend. Harsh, but it's a good soldier, a kind soul named Ezekiel. Ezekiel will be able to help Sam, who's apparently doing real bad after all those demon trials from the last season. He needed angelic healing. Cass doesn't have the juice anymore, so Ezekiel it is. Sweet and trustworthy Hale knocks Castiel unconscious with a plank of wood. Great. And then she starts driving them to the Grand Canyon, where Cass was gonna take her anyway, where she will then abandon her deteriorating vessel to instead possess Castiel and his strong vessel, replacing Cass so they can help the world, together? Castiel swerves the car off the road and then kills him. So she can't broadcast his location to other angels. So sorry, baby girl. Cass ends up in a laundromat hoping to clean all the angel blood off his clothes, but he's only got a couple of dollars. And he makes the hard choice to buy food and water instead and steal someone else's clothes out of a machine, abandoning his suit and trench coat uniform and living a life bouncing between homeless shelters for men, trying to stay safe and alive. Being human sucks. Cass starts going by Clarence. What Meg used to call him. And angels are still looking for him. They are torturing and smiting humans to find information, like Castiel finds 2 priests with their eyes burned out of their head. Pretty good sign he's got to keep moving. We've got to get to the boys. The boys have been safe while being human their whole lives. They have a lot more experience with this than Cass does. An angel does find him, and Cass has to take him out. Again. Just ending and harming angels, his family. The last thing he ever wanted. He's got to get better at hiding, right? Maybe that's the problem. He's too findable. So Castiel scrounges together what money he can and ducks into a tattoo shop. If the Winchesters have tattoos that protect them from demonic possession, surely tattoos can also be used for protection against angels. He wards himself physically from his brothers and sisters, and then keeps moving. He combs through the garbage for food. He sleeps in alleyways, Being human is a nightmare. One day, a woman kindly offers him a sandwich. Her name is April Kelly, and she's kind, and she's pretty, and she's nice to him. And just like Daphne Allen, April Kelly takes this strange man off the street and brings him into her home with romantic intentions. And they pray to the Lord together. It's Castiel's first time, apparently. Sorry, Daphne Allen, Castiel's wife. Were you waiting until legal marriage? Uh-oh. April Kelly's evil. Yeah. Cass, I need you to just never trust anyone ever again. I'm sorry, bud. You're really bad at sussing out who means you harm. I know you're all bright-eyed and full of love, and that's what I love about you, but I am gonna have to ask you to get more bitter right now for your own safety. April Kelly is a reaper, and she starts torturing human Castiel for information about Metatron. He tells her everything. He's not trying to hide anything from her. Tells her Metatron stole his grace for that spell. Metatron lied, took advantage. Cass was not trying to cast all the angels out. He doesn't know anything else. Sam and Dean burst in. Cass didn't even know they were actively looking for him. And here they are. Just in time. Or, almost just in time, because April Kelly stabs him and he dies. Out cold, bleeding out, vital systems shutting down, betrayed by the first woman to ever touch him kindly while he retained all his memories. Does Meg count? She probably counts just as much as April Kelly, I guess. Imagine if that was the end, right? Millennia of existence as a powerful soldier. You were briefly God, and then you get taken out after being resurrected 3 times in a row by God. You get taken out by like a sexy lady reaper. A fucking femme fatale gets you, dude. Embarrassing. But don't worry. Castiel awakens, healthy and stitched together as though by an angel. Or some other magic. Dean says that he tricked April. He got her to heal Cass up, and then he took her out, betraying her at the last minute. It's a lie. It doesn't matter. Cass is back with his boys. All right, he's back with Dean, and they take him home. Off the streets, out of danger, safely tucked into the heavily warded and protected bunker. Cass gets a shower. He eats food. He gets a bed. He's with his family. His righteous man and spooky blood boy, they're both safe and alive, and everything's okay again. Finally, after all of this harrowing bouncing around, smiting his siblings, things are gonna be okay again. Dean asks him to leave. Dean takes Castiel aside and asks him to leave for the Winchester's safety. Because there's angels after Cass, and that makes him a danger to his Winchesters, the only people who are 100% there for him. So it's an easy decision, right? He leaves, of course. Back on the street he goes. It's fine. He didn't want to be safe and kept and with his family or anything. This is just as good. Castiel ends up in Idaho, human and homeless. So he does the only thing he can do. He adopts a new identity and gets a job at a gas station called the Gas and Sip. They call him Steve. He's got a boss named Nora who's nice to him. He has a list of tasks to complete every day and a break room he can secretly sleep in at night. It's all right. He's okay. The news shows reports of a man who died by exploding into a fine pink mist. Cass calls Dean about it. Seems like something Dean would want to know. And then he goes right back to work. And then Nora, his boss that's nice to him, asks him out, right? She asks him to come over at 7, says she's so excited to go out again now that her baby, she's an infant daughter, is a little bit older and she has a little more freedom. She calls Castiel special. It's very exciting. It's very exciting to be liked and complimented. Dean arrives to the Gas and Sip, and whisks Castiel away on his break to go investigate that man turning into pink mist thing. It's obvious what happened to Cass. There's a type of angel called the Hands of Mercy. Back in the war, they were akin to healers. They didn't do much healing. When an angel was in too much pain, too injured to save, the Hands of Mercy would appear and painlessly smite them down, end their suffering, grant them mercy. And there are now Hands of Mercy on earth, just like there's every other angel on earth. And they're receiving all kinds of pain and fear signals from humanity and mixing up where their help is required, or if in fact it is required ever. It's sad. It's an upsetting turn of affairs, but Castiel can't do anything about it. Not like this. So he asks Dean to take care of it and drop Cass off for his date with Nora. Dean offers advice. He makes Cass leave the gas and sip uniform off. It's not very romantic. Makes him unbutton a few buttons and sends Cass off to Nora's house, where she's gotten all ready for her date with someone else. She invited Cass over to babysit, and he misinterpreted. To be fair, the way she asked it was very confusing. That is not his fault. Even somebody better at social cues would have probably gotten that one mixed up. But that's okay. That's fine. Cass likes to help. He's not, disappointed. Did someone he thought liked him enough to maybe want to keep him turned out to not want that. He just wants to be useful. So he watches the baby, and the baby's actually not doing well. Her temperature's elevated, she's crying, she can't be soothed no matter what classic rock songs Castiel sings her to try to calm her down. He calls Nora, leaves a voicemail, worried he'll have to take her to some kind of human baby doctor. He's never done that. They have doctors specifically for human babies, yes? And then to make matters even worse, the doorbell rings, and it's an angel. Ephraim, I don't know how to say it. A hand of mercy. Here, not for the baby, as Castiel originally feared, but actually for Cass himself. Apparently, the fear and pain and misery signals he's emitting are cosmically significant. He tries to banish the hand of mercy, but he's really no match for an angel anymore. Great news! Someone else arrives. It's Dean. With Dean's help, Castiel kills his brother. Another angel, dead at his hands. Being human is a nightmare. Nora comes home early from her date because of that voicemail Castiel sent, and Cass apologizes for scaring her. Everything's fine, but she assures him that it's okay. He only called because he cares so much, and that is what makes him so special. And then Dean goes home to the bunker, and Cass goes back to work at the gas and sip. A wonderful purpose. But in Dean's absence, Castiel does find himself feeling off. He just killed another angel. Angels are covering the planet, going around slaughtering each other and slaughtering humans in the process as collateral. And Castiel, former angel with plenty of knowledge on the subject, is just, what? Fixing soda machines? Cleaning bathrooms? Is that all he can do? Really? Dean accidentally left a fake FBI badge behind after the Hand of Mercy incident. So Cass holds on to it, just in case. Cass knows there's an angel vying for top spot called Bartholomew. He's gathering forces and eventually wants to reverse Metatron's spell and take his followers back to heaven, placing himself in charge. It's a good scheme, if it'll work. It seems to require a lot of angel murder, though. It's factions. It is all devolving into factions. There's a bar nearby, a hotspot for bikers and scoundrels, where a mass murder takes place. It's clearly angel activity, so Cass scurries off to investigate. He's an FBI agent, don't you know? Don't worry, human officers. His colleagues, Agent Spears and Agent Aguilera, are sure to arrive at any moment. See, Cass has figured out that the Winchesters like to use musician names as their aliases. He's learning. He's helpful. And appear the Winchesters do. And after they survey the bar of dead biker angels, they take Cass to a different bar and they get him drunk. He asks if it's okay that he's hanging out with them, that they're really okay with it and they feel safe. And Sam seems confused, which is weird. So when Sam goes outside for some air, Cass asks Dean, what's Sam so confused about? Doesn't Sam know why Castiel left the bunker? Because, Dean asked him to? No, Sam does not. Apparently, he's too sick to know stuff, and Castiel needs to be far away to help Sam heal. Ow! Ow! So when his Winchesters go back to their home base, Castiel does not go with. He goes to a motel, and he prays. And he prays. And he prays. He's just a human right now, right? His prayers won't mean much to any angel, but the hope is he'll get one who's still decent enough to care about just any human, who wants to help a simple human. And he gets one. Muriel. She tries to escape when she realizes the simple human she responded to is, in fact, Castiel, former god, butcher of angels, locker-upper of heaven. But Cass pleads for her to at least tell him what's going on with the factions. Begs her to believe he did not mean for this to happen. He didn't want everyone cast out of heaven. Muriel gives in and tells him there are two main factions. There's Bartholomew, as previously discussed, and there's also Malachi. Malachi is chaotic and cruel. Bartholomew is lawful and cruel. And they're both hunting down angels that don't choose a side. That's where a lot of the angel murders come in, and they're killing each other's followers and also any angel that's just trying to stay neutral in all this. And Malachi has, in fact, been hunting down Muriel. And he busts into the motel room with his buddy Theo at his side. They take Castiel and Muriel both for torture purposes. They want Castiel to explain how to reverse the spell. He cannot do this. Of course. He didn't even know it was a spell at the time, much less the counterspell measures. So Malachi and Theo kill Muriel, just to prove they can, and that they will. Malachi says they're just doing what Castiel did, really. Slaughtering their brothers and sisters. And that's not even referring to all of the angel murder that happened up in heaven when Cass was new god. A lot of angels died in the fall. Just more casualties to place at Castiel's feet. Malachi lists a few off, including Ezekiel, the angel that healed Sam. Or, rather, the name given to Dean by the angel who healed Sam. Uh-oh. Let's keep that in our pocket for now. Cass is left alone with Theo, Malachi's buddy, and Theo immediately starts begging for Castiel to contact Metatron to race Theo back to heaven. This guy has no loyalty to Malachi. He thinks Malachi's demented, all right? Theo wants to talk to Metatron, switch sides. Maybe he can convince Metatron to give Cass his grace back somehow or something. Get in good? Come on, Castiel, you gotta listen to me. Get me out of here. Castiel, who does not talk to Metatron, who is not friends with Metatron. He just plays along. Yes, Theo, of course. You're making the right choice. Release me. Let's get out of here. I will conduct the ritual to communicate with the voice of God, yes. Just get very close to me. Give me use of my hands back, Theo. Yes, very good. Castiel grabs an angel blade and slits Theo's throat. It doesn't kill him, weirdly. But it releases his grace, shimmering and beautiful. And Castiel inhales it, letting it settle into his bones, in his veins. It isn't his, but it works. Cass smites Theo and leaves this place. Castiel's got some of his angel mojo back, and it feels great. That's a lie. It hurts. Stolen grace kind of burns, but it's better than being hungry all the time. Having to sleep and urinate and what have you. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but being human is a nightmare. The first thing Cass does once restored is call his righteous man. Tells Dean he's got some juice again, but the important thing is the angel that called himself Ezekiel is a liar. Ezekiel died during the fall. Dean hangs up on Cass immediately after receiving this information. This happens so often that I firmly believe Castiel does not even know that that is a rude thing to do. He thinks this is standard human behavior. Castiel goes to the bunker to meet up with his righteous man, and it's a disaster. Dean has torn the room apart, thrown furniture, destroyed antiques, and Dean fills Cass in on what he missed. It was not Ezekiel. that offered to heal Sam. It was Gadriel. Gadriel, the angel who allowed Lucifer into the Garden of Eden and then spent the next several millennia imprisoned for it. He was released, just like every other angel. And Dean helped trick Sam into becoming Gadriel's vessel, inviting the angel into his body. Gadriel has been living inside of Sam ever since, slowly healing the damage caused by the demon trials. That's why Cass wasn't allowed to hang out with them. Because if Cass was around Sam with Gadriel for long enough, Cass might realize Sam was possessed, and they couldn't have Sam finding out. But it wasn't worth it. Gadriel killed Kevin, the young prophet they were sheltering, and then took off, still in Sam's body. So Sam's gone, Kevin's dead, Ezekiel's Gadriel. The ally list is in shambles. The real issue here is that Sam doesn't know that he's possessed. Angels require consent, and consent can be revoked. So if Sam did know, he could cast Gadriel out. If only they could somehow get through to Sam. Break through the angels' coding, in a way. Dean has Crowley in his basement. The king of hell, the demon who knows exactly how to torture the angel inside a vessel into breaking and reciting everything it knows in an ancient tongue, breaking through that coding. And Crowley is now dosing human blood like it's drugs. But Crowley doesn't want Dean's blood in return for his angel breaking services. He wants a field trip. Hey, Dean, don't offer your blood as drugs to the king of hell. Thoughts? Thoughts? Self-preservation once, but he wants a field trip. So now Castiel is being dragged on a field trip with his former business partner, also former archenemy, the king of hell. The field trip is to a financial office where Crowley has a contact, and he can use that contact to find Sam, and Sam is in Pennsylvania, so off we go. When they find him, Gadriel, fully in control of the body, has killed a man. They find him washing his hands clean of the blood. He's thankfully easily dispatched. They just kind of knock him out and drag him somewhere safe to tie him up. The ultimate traitor of heaven, very susceptible to blunt force trauma, just like everybody else. Man, I wish I could talk more about Gadriel. I really do. I love Gadriel. He's like if Castiel was more socially awkward and more set on his convictions of justice and fairness. And Castiel is so much those things. He turned the dial up even more. Like, okay, the guy Gadriel just killed, the guy he's trying to clean himself of, that is his former best friend, Abner. Someone Gadriel was so close to that Metatron mocked him by calling them boyfriends. Abner was also locked up, and when he fell, he took over the body of an abusive husband and father and fell in love with this man's human family and is now giving them a great life. He basically stepped in, killed their abuser for them, and went, I'm your dad/husband now. And they loved him for it. And he was so happy. And when he saw Gadriel, he was so happy to see Gadriel happy and free. He invited Gadriel into his home so they could reconnect and share this beautiful new life and second chance. And Gadriel killed him on Metatron's orders. It's crazy. Gadriel, I want to squish my fingers into you. Squish you around. Don't worry, I do still also wish those things for Cass. All right, so we've got Gadriel tied up in a chair. Crowley does his brain torture on Gadriel. But more importantly, Dean apologizes for kicking Cass out of the bunker. They were both deceived by angels and hurt each other. But it's okay now. All is forgiven. I'm leaving Crowley and enemies, by the way. Castiel does not see that man as an ally. No. Gadriel will not crack. He's been tortured for millennia. Crowley's not going to do any worse to him than he has long since gotten used to. And there's not really another way into Sam, right? Castiel can't possess Sam to try and get in there and reach him. But Crowley can. Demons don't need permission like angels do. And Dean thinks it's a great idea. Dean, okay. Yeah, Dean. Whatever you say, man. Castiel removes Sam's demon warding tattoo, and In Crowley goes. Sam is now housing the angel that doomed humanity and also the king of hell. Maybe being an angel is also a nightmare. It works, though. Gadriel is expelled from Sam Winchester. Cass and Dean take the dead weight that is non-possessed Sam off to safety, leaving Crowley to face Abaddon and her minions. Okay, so there's a demon named Abaddon. She's kind of the queen of hell, but not like her and Crowley are a thing. Her and Crowley are fighting for control of hell. There's hell factions right now, as well as there being heaven factions. Castiel just really and truly does not care about who wins the hell thing. There's a heaven war to figure out. King or queen of hell, it's still hell, right? Cass heals Sam up, and Sam is furious because of how Dean tricked him into housing an angel. I also would be. I think that Demon Blood Boy's got a good point here. Dean freaks out about how everyone who gets close to him dies, even though that's not what we were talking about, and then drives off, leaving Sam and Cass behind. So now it's just Cass and Sam kicking around in the bunker, eating sandwiches, which is way less fun when you're not human, BT dubs. Tasting every single molecule. A lot less enjoyable than tasting peanut butter. They realize there's still a little bit of Gadriel's grace left in Sam. It's not Gadriel in there, it's just residue. But if they could somehow extract it, they could maybe use it to track Gadriel. It's a painful process, and it hurts Sam immensely. But Sam wants to go through with it, take it all the way to the end as some sort of like penance, which Castiel can understand. But he stops the procedure early, and they don't end up with enough grace to cast Gadriel. It's the better option. Cass isn't going to kill Sam for Sam's failings. Cass has done way worse than Sam, and he's still walking around. As much as anybody tries to knock him down. Castiel goes back out to try and right those wrongs, finding out all that he can about the angel business and lessening suffering where possible. Another angel is dead. Her name is Rebecca. Castiel remembers her. She was actually a colleague of Metatron's back in the day. But today he goes to her funeral. Finds another angel there in mourning, Elijah. Elijah tells Castiel in no uncertain terms that Rebecca and Metatron are not friends. They haven't been for a very long time. Rebecca actually started her own faction called the Penitents. Angels who were committed to staying out of the war and living peaceful lives, which is, of course, an unforgivable crime to our faction boys. And Bartholomew had her taken. Ow! Speaking of Bartholomew, Mr. Faction Man himself has been looking for an audience with Castiel, and it's about time to go talk to him, isn't it? Bartholomew's all sharply dressed, looks like a real slimy businessman. He's been infiltrating a televangelist group and is using it to find willing vessels for his followers, and he's genuinely stoked to see Cass. Like, he hugs Cass. No one ever just hugs Cass like they're happy to see him. Bartholomew takes away Cass's angel blade, but like that's just common sense. They reminisce on the old days when Bartholomew followed Castiel into heavenly battle, like the old days. Cass got celestial promotions. Bartholomew became widely known as the guy who gleefully tortured prisoners. We all take our own paths. But let's focus on the now, huh? We've got a Metatron to find. Castiel can just ally with Bart for now, and they'll work together. Bart has even recently tracked down the Metatron here on Earth. He doesn't come down often. It's difficult to figure out his movements. So Castiel suggests luring him down somehow, gaining the upper hand that way by being the one who puts him there. Bartholomew loves this plan. It's almost like Cass is good at his job. You don't become the false god by not walking the walk. That's all I'm saying. But instead of just joining hands and working together to bait Metatron and save all angels, Bart drags Elijah the penitent into the room so they can torture him for what he knows. Elijah, the last penitent, who knows nothing of value to them. And they both know it. Bart has brought Elijah here just to see if Cass will kill him. If Cass can actually do what needs to be done. Because Castiel never tortured the prisoners back in the day. He never stooped low enough to kill future threats. Though if all the stories that Bart's hearing are true, he's certainly changed his tune. There are so many angels dead because of him. Bart just wants to see the proof for himself. Cass is not going to kill Elijah. He does not want to have to keep killing angels. And Elijah hasn't done anything. All right, that's like the whole thing now, man. So Bart kills Elijah. Fine. Elijah was never making it out of here realistically. Bart tries to take Cass down, but he's no fighter, and Castiel is back to peak form. He can overpower his snotty brother. But Cass doesn't take the chance to kill him. He does not want to have to keep killing angels. That's like the whole thing. Cass turns to leave. Bart goes for him again. Cass stabs him dead. You get one chance. You're not getting a second one. The guards let Castiel walk out unchallenged. Factions and factions and factions. Castiel apologizes at Rebecca's grave. She didn't have to die for the mess that he caused. And then, behind him, angels, who saw how Castiel handled Bart, asking Castiel to lead them to make and run his own faction. No, nope, no more factions. No more fighting. And then Metatron, of course, the freak, the loser. He's such a loser. Metatron's whole vibe is so loser. I hate him so much. I hate Metatron so much, it affects me in real life. I can't watch Curtis Armstrong and other stuff. He did too good playing this absolute freak loser. Metatron sees himself as a hero, and not just a hero, as the protagonist of the story. And every protagonist needs an antagonist, right? And Metatron has picked his perfect nemesis. It's Cass, of course. We'll get into that more in a bit, but we've got to back up. Castiel is drawn to an odd, pulsing energy. It's like an angel siren song. And he ends up in a building full of burnt angel wing silhouettes and a strange sigil, the source of that energy, and a single survivor, Hannah. She saw Gadriel. He was here, offering mercy to anyone who agreed to work for Metatron, and for anyone who didn't, there's all those burned angel wing silhouettes, isn't there? Hannah is starstruck by the angel who faced Bartholomew and asks if Castiel is the one now leading the charge against Metatron. No more factions. Castiel tears his coat in his stupid angel death trap warehouse too. He just got that coat back. Cass gives the details of the sigil to his boys and takes the opportunity to talk to Dean again, right? To talk to someone who can sympathize that it's hard to live your life always on the road. And it's nice. And then, time to move again. Cass is going to one town to investigate a multiple homicide. The Winchesters are going to another. That's fine. Cass loves working alone. At his motel, Castiel's TV flips channels all on its own, landing on Casa Erotica, a show produced by Gabriel, the Archangel. Gabriel, Castiel's rebellious, angry, goofy, genuinely good older brother who was killed by Lucifer a couple seasons ago. And then there he is. Gabriel. Gabriel is right behind Cass, here, alive, telling Castiel that he was hiding out in heaven all this time, the last place anyone would have looked for him until the fall kicked him out. And now, he's been trying to lay low until someone started using the Horn of Gabriel, one of them old heaven artifacts, to lure and smite angels. And Gabriel can't abide by that. That's his heaven artifact that's now being used, so he wants to take Metatron out too. Castiel's cool older brother wants to take point, and he wants Castiel's help. This is great. This is the perfect way for this to go. Somebody else is in charge, and they need Cass to do a job. Yes. Gabriel talks about how he doesn't want to run anymore. They bond. They drive together. It's so nice. It's so nice. I love Gabriel. They stop at a gas station where they're suddenly surrounded by Metatron's followers. Too many of them. Now, that is a crazy thing to say. They're angels and they can fly. They can teleport. How do you just get surrounded? I don't get it, but that's okay. Gabriel's gonna hold them off, giving Castiel time to run. And obviously, that's a ridiculous sentiment. Cass just got his brother back. Why would he leave now? Right? But Gabriel's insistent, saying Cass is just gonna have to lead this charge if Gabriel can't, urging his little brother to be the one to go take down Metatron. Because the Archangel is about to sacrifice himself instead of teleporting. And then Castiel realizes his coat is not torn, completely undamaged. It had just gotten ripped in Angel Death Trap warehouse. He hadn't bothered to fix it yet. Something's wrong. All of those little inconsistencies are adding up. This isn't real. Gabriel's not here. Castiel isn't even here. Gabriel seems disappointed that Cass realizes it. And when Cass asks if Gabriel really is dead, if that's really true, Gabriel makes this really annoying facial expression.
Are you dead?
And then Castiel poofs to where he really is, Metatron's home office. So not only is Metatron already the world's worst of all time, now he's taunting me with Gabriel, giving me my angsty trickster, and then immediately tearing him away from me and from Cass. Let Cass have a shitty but well-meaning older brother. Come on! Metatron tries to convince Castiel to be his antagonist, to make the story work. If Cass leads a horde of angels against him, then after Cass's side inevitably loses, falling to the side of righteous good that is Metatron, Metatron will give Cass a nice spot in heaven to retire and spend the rest of his days. Fuck that. Absolutely not. So the Metatron offers Cass a new angelic grace to replace the one that he stole that is diminishing and burning him out in the process. Hey, fuck that. Absolutely not. Metatron learns that the Winchesters have got Gadriel. It really doesn't matter how that happened. What matters is the only way to move forward is an even trade. Cass goes back to his boys. Gadriel goes back to the world's most pretentious middle-aged male author. And think about how high that bar is. Before he sends Cass back, Metatron gets so annoyed that Castiel isn't understanding all his pop culture references that he just implants hundreds of years of stories into Castiel's head. Just instantaneously, here's all pop culture ever. But now Castiel understands pop culture references in a way that is delightful to me. Because while he understands when someone is referencing a movie, he still doesn't understand why they are doing that, because he doesn't understand the events in context. He never actually experienced the stories and created an emotional connection, so he can't extrapolate the concepts and fit the metaphors into a relatable situation. So now he's just confused in a different way. Like, why are you bringing up Star Wars right now? This is real life. Dean is impressed that he understands a Star Wars reference, though, so it's all worth it, I guess. Speaking of Dean, Dean seems weird, angry, on edge, but like more than usual. It's because Dean has gotten himself a whole new problem. He has taken on the mark of Cain, Cain from the Bible, the branded cursed mark of Cain, murderer who went on to become a demon who led the Knights of Hell. And now Dean's wearing the brand so he can wield the first blade, the jawbone that was used to kill Abel from the Bible. Dean's going to use the first blade to kill Abaddon, who again, demon trying to be queen of hell. Castiel cannot focus on that right now. Cass can't help Dean right now either. There's a group of angels waiting outside his motel room, Hannah at the front. They need a leader, and they want Cass. Metatron has to be stopped. He was willing to kill leagues of angels just for the sake of positioning himself as a hero. Not for a belief, not for a cause, just for his own ego. To say there will be evil hordes against him because he's just that right and divine. So Castiel decides to form what I can only describe as the world's cutest cult.
Josiah wasn't at roll call.
Roll call? You hold roll call?
They like to hear me say their names.
I know a couple of women like that.
That's right, baby. We're in the faction war business now. Cass calls in his boys to interrogate one of Metatron's followers that they have, tied up in a chair, to get information about the gate that Metatron keeps to go in and out of heaven. so that Cass can go to a super secret meeting with Gadriel. Because, like, listen, we do want to know about the Gate of Heaven. It's important. If you've got that information, you've got a lot of leverage in the Angel Wars, because we all want to get back to heaven. But the boys can handle that. We got to go talk to Gadriel. Because Gadriel never hurt Sam, even though he very much could have, right? Gadriel's actions have demonstrated nothing but loyalty and honor, even if it is to a cause and to a side that Castiel does not agree with. So he has to try to talk with Gadriel on a real level. This, too, is his brother, and he can probably be reasoned with. Cass asks Gadriel to switch sides, but sneakily stay in Metatron's good graces, an angel on the inside, fighting for the lives of as many angels as possible to keep their family alive and safe and happy and hale. And hey, do you remember that thing I said about how Gadriel only demonstrates, like, raw loyalty and honor? Not the guy I would ask to be my super secret double agent, but I understand we don't have a lot of choices right now. Metatron was having Gadriel followed, unbeknownst to Gadriel, and those followers ambush Cass. Gadriel helps Cass dispatch them, and then they separate back to their own sides. Cass goes home to his cult to find out that absolutely none of his followers like his righteous man. Dean was really weird and violent with them. Awesome, yeah! That bodes super well for everybody. Castiel's following grows substantially, and then there are some pretty major problems. The main problem being, the suicide bombers. There are angels walking into public places where other angels are saying, "This is for Castiel," and then smashing their hand into an angel, like banishing, destroying sigil on their chest, and exploding themselves to kill the other angels. And that's a thing that they put in this television show. And this is a problem, both because I don't like that they put it in the television show, feels weird, but also because they're saying it's for Cass, and Cass did not ask them to do that. He did not ask anyone to do that for him. And now he has to convince everybody he didn't ask anyone to do that for him. There's another thing on his plate. It sucks. Being an angel sucks. No, it's being a faction leader that sucks. That's what it is. Being in charge of stuff, not Cass's speed. I really think that we can firmly say that is a true thing about him. Okay, so there's a few different things to do. One of Cass's followers, Josiah, has gone missing. He was looking for the gate to heaven, and they haven't seen him in a long time. Another thing, suicide bombers. So Dean is going to handle the interrogation of figuring out what's going on with all those angels blowing each other up, while Sam and Cass go look for Josiah. That, to me, is a weird way to divide that, especially with how Dean is being. But again, Cass is not good at being a leader of stuff. So Cass and Sam go through a Home Alone style collection of booby traps in a warehouse, which leads them to the door to heaven, but it's not actually a door to heaven. It was all a trick and a trap, where they do find Josiah, who is dying, and does not want to owe his life to Cass. Like, refuses to be healed by Castiel so that he doesn't owe his life to Cass. Harsh. So this mission was for nothing. We didn't find the doorway. We didn't get Josiah back. Now Cass is sad. And then they go back to the cult warehouse and they find Dean all taped up with duct tape because he killed somebody while they were gone. And the angels are all mad about it and they don't trust Dean. And it's all falling apart. And then Metatron FaceTimes the cult warehouse to say, "Hey guys, it's me, Metatron." Just calling to say, one-time offer of amnesty. Anybody can come join Team Metatron right now. Join my side. Leave Castiel. He's icky, icky, icky. You want to come over here to Team Winners. Cass's followers are like, I don't think we do. We're kind of all here because we hate your ass, actually. Until Metatron is like, yeah, did you know your guy, your big, strong leader, stole another angel's grace? Huge taboo, awful thing. Did you know that? And the angels are like, oh, God. They didn't know that. So now they're starting to doubt this man, this angel. So they need some kind of sign that Castiel is fully, like, ready to protect them. So they ask, okay, what we want from you is for you to punish Dean Winchester for doing a murder while you were gone, please. They don't even ask Cass to kill him. They just say, punish him in some way. Show us that you're here for us, not for Dean Winchester. Angels, I have some bad news. Not gonna do that. And in fact, Cass does not do that. He says, no, thank you. I'd actually lose every ounce of political power I have if it meant that I don't have to tell Dean he did a bad thing. So Cass loses all of his followers. They go over to Team Metatron, including Hannah. Right-hand woman Hannah. We go back to the bunker. Losers and failures. Team Free Will. Sam, Dean, Cass. And then who else arrives to the bunker but Gadriel? Gadriel has found out that all of those explodey angels were plants by Metatron. Metatron did this. He has been sacrificing angels to kill other angels just to make Cass look bad. This has finally crossed Gadriel's line. That's not honorable. That's not normal. We can't be doing this. Metatron, that's war crimes. Gadriel wants to join Team Cass. He's ready to be the only angelic member of Team Cass and help take down Metatron, because he's finally realized that guy sucks. He's going to tell them everything he knows about Metatron's plans. He's going to get them through this. Hell yeah. Dean stabs him with the first blade. Down, boy. What are you doing? Okay, so we have to lock Dean in the panic room dungeon now. Officially a liability. Couldn't hold it together for 5 minutes. And while we've got Dean locked up, Sam and Cass are going to go find Gadriel. And they do. Because they need that guy. When they get back to the bunker with him, Dean's gone. And the panic room bunker smells like sulfur. It smells like Crowley. But here's the thing. If Dean is connected to the first blade and can use it with the Mark of Cain, he can kill Metatron. If they break the angel tablet. Because apparently Metatron is connected to the angel tablet and it's giving him extra powers. This is new. We're in the finale. They're dropping this right here, right now. Metatron's possession of the angel tablet makes him stronger. It's not just being the voice of God and the leader of the faction or anything. It's the angel tablet. So we have to break the angel tablet and then sick Dean on him with the jawbone, and that'll finally kill this freak. Guess doesn't like love that plan. We don't love treating Dean like a hammer to be wielded against our enemies, but like, God, what other choice do we have? Metatron's walking around Earth pretending to be a messiah named Marv. He names himself Marv. He finds a woman who got hit by a car and he heals her. He's like going around doing little miracles, which is technically a good thing, but he's doing it just to look good and strong. Ugh, whatever. Metatron's off doing all that. Cass and Gadriel are gonna go to heaven. They're gonna get into heaven so they can get into Metatron's office, so they can get the angel tablet, so they can break the angel tablet. Done, easy peasy. How are they gonna get Cass into heaven? Also easy peasy. Gadriel's just gonna say, this is my prisoner. The classic Wookiee gambit. They get into heaven, but heaven kind of saw right through them and realized they were here to do a ruse, and they lock them up in heaven prison. The place Gadriel was stuck for many thousands of years. Gadriel does not handle that well. While in heaven prison, Hannah, former right-hand woman Hannah, is guarding Gadriel and Cass, who are in 2 separate cells just next to each other. And Gadriel starts freaking out. Man's losing it, okay? He's talking about how angels used to have a purpose. They used to help humans. They used to do the right thing, and now we've all lost our truth. We've all lost our path. And Metatron is just like a symptom of this problem. And we all need to follow Castiel. And Hannah's like, okay, weirdo, guy who doomed humanity, I'm not here to believe the things that you're saying. Why would I believe either of the two of you? That's crazy. So Gadriel decides the way to prove that he's serious about these things that he's saying is to explode. He carves that sigil into his chest, tells Castiel to back up, and is like, "This is finally my redemption." Explodes himself to break through the wall to let Cass out of jail and prove to Hannah that he, is serious. But the thing is while Gadriel's doing this, wind up, his unhinged monologue, Hannah's desperately trying to open the door. She's like, don't do that. Hey, I got it. I'll open the door. Stop. And he does it anyway. And it doesn't, for what? He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to explode. It really didn't do anything that he exploded. I liked Gadriel. I wanted to keep Gadriel, and instead he exploded for nothing. Castiel gets no cool or fun brothers. Not that I'd necessarily call Gadriel cool or fun. I liked him, though. I think he would have been good for Cass. And instead, he is dust. Dust in the wind, one might say. All right, but we've got Hannah back. Yay? Hannah helps Cass get into Metatron's office, where he immediately finds the angel tablet under Metatron's typewriter, because of course he uses a typewriter, and Cass breaks it, and Metatron is weakened. He senses this. He knows the connection's been broken, and poof, now he's in heaven. Facing Cass, handcuffing Cass to a chair, monologuing to Castiel about the story and about what Castiel's biggest weakness truly was.
And for what again? Oh, that's right. To save Dean Winchester. That was your goal, right? I mean, you draped yourself in the flag of heaven, but ultimately, it was all about saving one human, right? He's in love with humanity.
Yeah, man, with humanity. Also, right after he delivers that line, he tells Cass that Dean is dead. That Metatron has killed Dean Winchester. And he has. Cass just wasn't there. And Cass doesn't, believe him at first, right? Obviously, Dean's not dead. Cass would know. Cass would know if Dean was dead, right? Right? But he kind of has to push that to the side a little bit, because Metatron's right here. And we have, a job to do. So, Metatron continues his monologue about how he's God, and he's here to be the shepherd for all of these angels who are nothing but little sheep. And this was all Metatron's machinations. He's too smart to be stopped. And that's when Castiel reveals his true secret weapon, Angel Radio, which in the past has just been the fun name for the kind of underlying angel hive mind, where one angel can communicate with every angel all at once. If something's important, if they're asking questions of each other, they can kind of get a sense of how all the angels are doing. Now it's a real radio in Metatron's office, and it's got a button, and you can turn it on or off. And Castiel went up to the radio before Metatron got here and turned it on. So it's been broadcasting Metatron to all angels. And now all angels know that Metatron's a sneaky, slimy little goose. I don't think it should be a real radio. Of all the things to bother me, this one really got me. What do you mean it's a physical machine with buttons and switches? Metatron goes to heaven jail, because now the angels don't like him anymore. After they lock Metatron up, Hannah approaches Cass and says, "Hey, you gonna be in charge of all of heaven?" And Cass says, "No." Because, again, not his strong suit, right? But there is still the problem of Castiel's grace. That stolen grace is diminishing and also hurting him, and he has to replenish it somehow, or he will die again. And that's where we leave Cass for this season, is just on that conundrum, stuck in that pickle. But important for you to know when we get into season 10, way down on Earth, where Cass doesn't know this is happening. Deep in the bunker, Dean Winchester, fully dead, fully killed by Metatron, lays in a bed in the bunker, the first blade tucked in his hand, and his eyes open, alive again, as a demon. Castiel's righteous man is a demon. It's so cool to be immortal and powerful and in love with humanity. Do you guys think next season he'll have like a good day? I don't think he had one good day this season. But man, I'm maybe one in season 10 at least, right? That's not too high of a bar. Season 10! Castiel is doing awful. Sick, tired, miserable, lethargic. His powers are fizzling out. On account of the Grace situation, the pickle we left him in. But I'll tell you what, guys. I genuinely think he does have a good day in this season. I'm excited to get to it. I will also say they don't let him do very much in this season. So those things may be correlated. Awful sick, miserable. We've covered this. But it's not as bad as it could be right here at the beginning because Cass knows Dean is not dead. Let's go! Metatron was wrong. Dean is out there. He's gone. Somehow. He's not in the bunker anymore. He left a note for Sam telling his brother to let him go. Likely. And he's just gone. Probably being overtaken by that wretched Mark of Cain somewhere. But remember, actually, Dean's a demon. Shh. Cass doesn't know that. Sam calls sometimes, but there's not news. And Sam can clearly tell Cass isn't at 100%, so he's trying not to tell Cass everything. Anyway, it sucks. Everything sucks. But at least he's not hurting anyone now. Can't, even if he wanted to, like this. Hey, remember Hannah? Right-hand woman Hannah? Hannah's been doing a great job whipping Heaven back into shape. Heaven is open, so angels have largely gone back home, and they're largely self-governing now. It's great. It's like better than Cass could have hoped for. The only issue is that not every angel went home, and there are rogues wandering the earth. Recently, angel blood was spilt again when one angel went to wrangle two rogues to bring them back to heaven. Those rogues are named Daniel and Adina. The angel that was killed is not given a name. We don't care about that guy. Anyway, Daniel and Adina, they killed their sibling. They went back into hiding. Hannah is very concerned about this. She's trying to get all of the rogues back home anyway, but especially ones that need to be punished for doing angel murder. Hannah wants Cass to help her find Daniel and Adina and bring them back into the fold. And good Lord, does Cass need something to do? Something to focus on. They find Daniel first, and Daniel's kind. He's sweet. He loves being on Earth. He loves sunsets. He loves being his own person. Hannah seems appalled by all of this because she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand why someone would willingly give themselves to the chaos of humanity's influence. But Daniel is really happy here. He doesn't want to go back to heaven. He just wants to be left alone. So Cass knows he can just talk this through with him. Brother to brother. Daniel's friend, partner, Adina, shows up. She is less agreeable. She knows that Hannah wants to drag them back to heaven however she can, especially after that angel murder thing. And she swings first. Adina starts the fight, and they finish it. In the end, the only casualty of the scuffle is Daniel. Collateral, really. And Adina slips away. He was just such a nice guy. Okay, angel stuff sucks. Let's maybe think about the Winchesters again. Sam has got Dean. And Dean is a demon. Cass finally learns that. Great. Awesome. Earth is so fun. But the real actual good news here is they do know how to cure a demon. You just use purified human blood. They almost got Crowley with it not that long ago. So Cass is going to come to them and help. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he has thousands of years of knowledge. Guy was God at one point. If he doesn't die in a car crash first. It's hard to stay awake while driving when you're basically out of angel mojo. He's getting worse, and Hannah is getting more worried, a little more frantic. She thinks they shouldn't go to Sam and Dean at all, that those guys are a bad influence on Cass. Whatever, Hannah. You haven't been keeping track of the allies list. All right, we gotta keep who we can. And Hannah's changing here too, anyway. She's getting more emotional, sentimental, attached to ideas and people.
Very human. It's a compliment.
And Hannah, like every angel who's learning how to be a little more human, goes rogue. She goes to Metatron. She wants to bargain with him for Cass's grace to save Cass. It's very sweet. It's really, truly very kind. But Cass isn't going to let her repeat his mistakes and make a stupid deal with the worst author in creation. So he goes after her. They've got Metatron in a straitjacket in Heaven Jail. Full straitjacket. Why? For what purpose? Because I'll spoil it right now. He's not wearing it when we see him in Heaven Jail later in the season. So were they just like trying something new with him? Did he request it? Does he like the symbolism of it? Metatron yells about how he's gonna get out of here someday. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. They leave. Cass still burning out and fading. It's fine. It really is. He has made his peace with it. We've just got to get to the boys. We've got to fix Dean. We're off to the bunker. Hannah is actively sabotaging our trip to the bunker, getting us lost and shit, asking if Cass would maybe please think about stealing another Angel's Grace to get big and strong, and maybe, you know, us not knowing how to read a map was a sign. No! Not doing that. Stop lying about the roads. Also, Hannah is kind of being weird in general. She keeps staring at him very closely. She showered at a motel earlier, even though they don't need to shower, and just like hung out naked and was very interested if that bothered or affected Castiel. Listen, Cass knows like movies now, right? He knows some stuff. So Cass pulls her aside and asks her to please focus on priorities. Okay, we have a job to do here. When they stop for gas, the pair is found by Adina. She throws him around pretty good, has Cass out the door and on the ground. Hannah on the ropes inside the store. She's furious about what they did to Daniel and wants her pound of flesh. And quite frankly, I get it. I don't think she's like wrong for that. And then Crowley appears. He just shows up in the gas station, stops Adina from torturing Hannah, slashes Adina's throat open, bottles her grace, and then kills her right after. Crowley's just here. Don't worry, they do take a beat for Adina to refer to Hannah as Cass's honey bunch, and for Crowley to say Hannah is Cass's girlfriend. Deeply not the time, guys. We have stuff to do. Man is dying. Crowley feeds the stolen grace to Cass. Cass doesn't want it. He fights it at first. This is the opposite of what he wanted. He would have died to spare any others this fate. But Crowley's right in the end when he says that Adina was going to kill both Cass and Hannah, and Dean needs him at full strength. And so does Crowley. Whatever that means. Yeah, man, working with Crowley went really well before. You should not interrogate that weird thing Crowley said. Just go along with it. He seems trustworthy. The angels go to the bunker. Hannah stays in the car the whole time because she does not like those guys. Cass goes in to find Demon Dean preparing to kill his little brother with a hammer. But Cass stops him with a well-timed hug from behind and a good dose of angel strength. Between the two of them, Sam and Cass get Dean cured. He is human again! and alive. Still has the mark of Cain, that awful, awful thing, but he's Dean. Human Dean. Castiel's a righteous man. He was a demon for 3 episodes. Do you guys remember how big a deal they made about Dean being a demon? He was a demon for 3 episodes. God forbid we do something interesting. God forbid we commit to the bit. We have to reset to the status quo every time, all the time. Castiel and Hannah hit the road again, seeking rogue angels. But what they find, accidentally, is a man who recognizes Hannah, not as Hannah, the angel, but as Caroline Johnson, the vessel. Caroline's husband has been looking for her and is so distraught and confused to see Caroline just milling around a hotel lobby with a strange man. Hannah flails for an excuse and eventually lands on that she left her husband for Cass, and then sort of very awkwardly holds Cass's hand to try and prove that point. And Cass just stands there stoically trying to look worthy of an affair, I guess. Mr. Caroline Johnson doesn't seem convinced, so Hannah upgrades the act and kisses Castiel right on the mouth. Right there. And Mr. Caroline Johnson still isn't really buying it. But he does leave anyway. Hannah feels so guilty. She feels awful. She believes in the mission, of course, in protecting humanity, bringing angels home to heaven. This is her life. This is her purpose. But the human inside of this vessel, she deserves a life too, right? And Caroline was screaming inside of the body when Hannah saw her husband, and it just feels wrong. And Castiel can relate, right? He confirms that his vessel's soul, Jimmy, not even there anymore. Jimmy is fully gone, passed on, in heaven. But he put that man and his family through all manner of grief, and he understands Hannah not wanting to do that to Caroline. Jimmy was gone when the body exploded, by the way. Human body, once exploded, cannot retain the human soul. The soul just kind of goes. So it's just been cast in there for a while. Hannah leaves her vessel. She goes back to heaven as pure, unfiltered grace, and Castiel is left with Caroline Johnson, human woman. Hannah is still an ally. We see her a couple more times, and I think very much Cass still considers her an ally in heaven. So we're gonna leave her on the list, even though she's not physically doing little missions with Cass anymore. Castiel gets Caroline Johnson home. It's not hard, and it feels good to just do something good, but man, it makes you reflect on the man whose life you stole, doesn't it? The man who you body snatched, they took away from his family. It makes you think. So Castiel takes it upon himself to follow up with Jimmy's family. Jimmy Novak had a wife and a daughter. You may recall that Castiel briefly possessed that daughter. Claire was her name. She was young at the time, maybe 9 or 10. These days, she'd be 17, and Cass just wants to check on her. Make sure she's okay. She's not okay. He finds her in a group home. She is being kept in isolation as a problem child. And when Cass shows up claiming to be Claire's father, Claire's pretty disappointed to learn that her dad is not in there even a little bit, that it's just Castiel, the guy who killed her dad. And turns out her mom's not in the picture anymore either. A couple of years ago, her mom left to find herself and was never seen again. So it's just Claire. And Cass feels pretty bad about that and asks if there's anything he can do to make it up to her. Anything at all. Claire would like out of this group home. Please. Their first try to get Claire out of this group home is for Cass to pose as Jimmy Novak, Claire's biological father, wanting custody again. But that involves a lot of lying in front of a government official.
I fight certain deadly threats to humanity.
He's an exterminator.
I'm an exterminator.
Would you believe it doesn't work? Anyway, so when that doesn't work, he just breaks Claire out in the middle of the night. And I feel like probably we should have started there. We really should have known. Cass takes Claire out for dinner. They go to a nice little restaurant. Claire's really confused because she remembers being possessed by this guy. She remembers when this guy was a big, stoic, powerful angel of the Lord, and now she's being faced with like a weird doofus who's trying to get her to eat her vegetables. She steals his wallet and slips out of there. Claire's kind of not looking for a new dad right now. She also doesn't like this guy. I've put her under allies because Cass has immediately decided he would die for this girl. This is his daughter now. This is Cass's kid, whether she likes it or not. He calls Sam and Dean to help him track her down. You are an angel of the Lord. And he calls his 2 boys to find a 17-year-old girl. They do. They have to harass a teenage boy who works at the Wiener Hut to do it. His name's Dustin. He sucks. But they do it. It turns out that Claire has a father figure already right now. His name is Randy. Randy has sort of pseudo-adopted Claire and Dustin, and they do crimes together. But Randy is very, very in debt to a loan shark who is about to come and collect. And Randy is relying on Claire, 17-year-old girl, by the way, to do something to get all that money back, to do a successful robbery to get enough money for the loan shark. So he sends her to go rob a convenience store. They learn that that's the plan from Dustin, so Cass goes to stop her from doing that. We're not gonna rob a convenience store, actually, thank you. Sam and Dean are there. Claire doesn't really want to see them either. She points her gun at Cass. Cass's daughter. And when Cass says, I don't know why you're doing that, that wouldn't even hurt me, she instead points the gun at Sam and Dean. She doesn't do anything about it. She just leaves. Teenagers. It's hard to raise a teenager who you don't know and doesn't want to be raised by you. But we have to go pick up Claire because she's clearly in a bad situation, right? This guy who's in debt to the loan sharks that are about to come collect, we got to go get her. We can't just leave her there. So they go to Randy's house. The loan sharks are there. Randy's, I think, tied to a chair in the kitchen, and Claire's screaming upstairs because Randy told the loan shark that, you know, forgive the money, forgive the debt. You can have Claire. You can have Claire, Castiel's daughter. 17-year-old girl. You can just have her. Forgive the few $1,000s. Yes, Supernatural did introduce a new female character, a minor, and in this same episode had her experience sexual assault. Cass gets in there before anything happens, but she's very in a bad situation when he gets there, and he just takes her outside. Here we go, darling. We don't need to be in this house anymore. Sam, come along. Sam, come with. They leave Dean inside, fighting off the loan sharks. Dean, who has the mark of Cain. Now, I will say this. What happens next is Dean murders all those guys. Really brutally. Really violently. Now, those guys are loan sharks who are willing to either buy or sell 17-year-old girls. I think Dean can do whatever he wants to them. Cass is not there for Dean doing this because he's in the car holding Claire very closely as she's trying to get any comfort from the very stressful situation that she was just in, and it's kind of nice. I mean, it's bad, obviously it's bad, but he's like doing just a good thing by providing comfort. And then they hear all the scuffle from inside and they go in, and Claire sees the dead body of her father figure Randy, and Dean surrounded by all the blood. It's not good. Claire's pretty upset about all that. Not a lot we can do about it now, but he would like to try to mend the relationship if he can. More importantly, Dean has the mark of Cain, and it's making him really violent. We have to find a way to get that off. Cass believes if they had possession of the demon tablet, they might be able to find a way in the demon tablet, but it's missing. They don't have any clue where it's gone. You know who might know where it's gone? Metatron. So we get Metatron a day pass out of heaven jail. Yay. Cass actually just drops Metatron off at the bunker for Sam and Dean to deal with. They know how to question guys. It's fine. Cass doesn't want to hang out with Metatron, and he has a daughter to worry about now. Cass goes to talk to Claire in her motel room. She's trying to slip out before he can get there, but she's too slow. And, he tries to give her some, advice that she's still young, she can start over, she doesn't have to be consumed by her past. That makes her very mad. Because she does not want a dad right now. Cass killed her dad, and Dean killed her new dad. The boys are trying to get their hands on the first blade again. The jawbone that Cain used to kill Abel that makes the Mark of Cain go crazy mode. Because apparently using the first blade, you can take off the mark. That's what Metatron says. So that's a stupid plan. That's a stupid plan. Cass hates that plan. And you know what? He's not even really thinking about that plan right now because he gives Claire's phone number to Dean so that Dean can try to reach out to her. He needs Sam and Dean both. They were troubled teens. Dean kind of loses it on Metatron. And beats him up really bad. Really bad. And Cass promised that he was going to return Metatron to heaven in one piece after the day trip from jail. So Cass does have to get in there and save Metatron from the righteous man. He gets Metatron back to heaven jail. And then he feels, it's not like a prayer, but he feels like somebody wants him nearby. And it's Claire. So he goes to her immediately, and she gets all defensive because she was not praying for him and doesn't want him there. But that's not what that longing in the air said. She says she'd like to keep in touch. I guess Dean talking to her went well. Cass is so good at this. Claire actually had schemed to get Dean killed. Have people ambush and jump him when he arrived to talk to her. And at the very last second, stopped them from doing that. And that changed her mind. Cass doesn't know about that. It's not important. She wants to keep in touch. Cain, the real actual Cain, starts to be a problem. Cain has decided that he needs to cleanse humanity of his influence by going through and systematically murdering all of his own descendants. And the thing about that is Cain was the third human being ever. So there's quite a few. They have to lure him with a 12-year-old boy that is one of his descendants and trap him. Also, Crowley is there. Can this guy get out of here? Crowley's there because he has the first blade, and they have to give the first blade to Dean so that Dean can kill Cain. And he does. Dean does kill Cain, and he does it without going cuckoo. He does it without turning into a demon again. He just does it. And we're so proud of him! Also, when Dean comes out of the killing Cain room, instead of giving the first blade back to Crowley, as he said he would, he hands it to Cass. He gives it to Cass, which means Castiel gets to hide it somewhere Dean will never find it, and Dean trusts him. The journey to get rid of the Mark of Cain is not going well. So we need to go back to 100% focus on Dean and this mark. Sam comes up with a plan to break Metatron out of heaven jail, because they're not going to let him out on a day pass again, not after how Cass brought him back last time. They're going to break him out of heaven jail to ask him more about the mark. So they need an inside man, someone who's already in heaven that they can talk to that will spring Metatron for them, or that will open a door to let Cass in there to help break Metatron out of heaven. So they go to a psychic, and I love the old man psychic they go to. His name is Oliver. He's only ever in this episode. I love him. I wish we got to keep him.
I'm an angel.
No, you can't be.
Why not?
Because I'm an atheist.
Not anymore.
They do a seance and they contact Bobby Singer Sam and Dean's cool dad that I took off the ally list a while ago because he died a couple seasons back. And they tell Bobby, old man, we got a job for you. You need to break out of your own personal heaven that you're in right now, get into the heaven corridors, find door number 42, open that so that Cass can come in, and then the two of you are going to break the scribe of God out of heaven jail. And Bobby says, okay. Yeah, man, I guess. They break into heaven jail. Bobby is entirely unimpressed with Metatron.
This is the scribe of God. It looks like a Fraggle.
I'm going to take that as a compliment. That was an excellent program.
Metatron.
Because Bobby Singer is always right and has good opinions. And then Cass leaves. Gets out of there. Takes Metatron back down to Earth, where Sam is waiting to slash Metatron's throat and steal his grace. Human Metatron, baby! And now, human and coward and fragile and awful, Metatron admits that he actually has no idea how to remove the Mark of Cain. He was just kind of trying to, buy himself time by implying that he did. He's actually incredibly unhelpful at this moment. And they just have a Metatron now. So that means we can kill that guy, right? If he's not helpful. We just take him off the board, and then Metatron steps in and goes, ha! I do know where Cass's grace is, though. I did still have that. That I wasn't lying about. I do still have Cass's grace. You can't kill me. I am helpful. So, Castiel is now going on a road trip with Metatron. A fun little buddy road trip with the guy who stole his grace to banish every angel from heaven. The guy who wanted to make Castiel his universal arch nemesis to position himself as the hero of an untold story. I hate Metatron so much. And they're sticking him in a car with Cass so that Metatron can direct Cass to many of his little safe houses he's got on Earth. And at one of them, Cass's grace is going to be in there. The Winchesters are off looking for the Book of the Damned that may have the key to removing the Mark of Cain. So, I mean, at least that mission is also happening. And they don't need Cass's help with that because they've got Charlie on it. Cass has never met Charlie. Don't worry about it. Metatron, would you believe it? Really annoying road trip buddy. Talks so much. So much. Really annoying to eat in restaurants with. Talks so much. And then when you leave the restaurant with him after he has terrible lactose intolerance induced indigestion that you have to deal with because this guy's never used a bathroom before, you take him out of the restaurant after all of that, a Cupid, mad at both of you, jumps you in a parking lot, and Metatron saves Cass's life. Kills the Cupid for him. That doesn't win you any points. They go to another safe house location. It's a library where supposedly the angel that Metatron had stashed the grace for him left clues, including what's the maddest thing a man can do. It reads like a riddle, right? But that's not actually very helpful to Cass. He's not good at those. Metatron tries taunting and questioning Cass to ask, what is the real mission here? What are you gonna do when all the angels are back up in heaven and helped? What are you at your core? And he's doing that just to distract Cass as he uses his own human blood to draw runes to then activate that strip Cass out of all power. It's never really explained. But Metatron activates this rune, and then Cass is on the ground gasping. Not dying, just like a beached dolphin. It turns out Metatron did know where things were in this library because he uses a different little paper riddle question to find the demon tablet stored in a book. But him doing that shows Cass that it wasn't a riddle. What's the maddest thing a man can do? It's a quote from Don Quixote. So he opens the book and he finds his grace. He finds his grace! Metatron flees with the demon tablet and Cass is back! Look at this shot. Look at him with his wings out behind him, all broken and burnt, but still put together and whole. Oh, I love him so much. Cass goes back to the bunker, triumphant. Finally himself again, and he meets Charlie. Charlie's the cute little tech nerd that the Winchesters have been friends with for a long time. Cass has just never met, played by Felicia Day. And Charlie loves him immediately. She greets him with a hug, says that she thought he'd be shorter than he is, asks if he can heal her carpal tunnel, and he does immediately. She says that they're best friends. And then he and Charlie and Sam and Dean all have like a cute little family dinner. It's so nice. It's so nice to have friends. I don't know if I would call this Cass's good day because it ends really well, but it did start with him having to hang out with Metatron for like 4 days and also the first half of this day. So I don't know if I'd call this a good day. We'll get there. Castiel gets a phone call. He was listed as the emergency contact for one Claire Novak. She made him her emergency contact. So he gets Sam and Dean together so they can go to the hospital where Claire is and figure out if she's okay. She is, but she's not very excited to see them. She was looking for her mom, and it went poorly. She found the wrong guy who seemed to know what was happening, but she dug too close, and he knocked her out in an alleyway. His name is Ronnie. He sucks. And when Cass and Dean find Ronnie, he directs them to the faith healer that he works for, a guy called Peter Holloway, that apparently Ronnie used to find people that needed faith healing and bring them to him. Ronnie himself was cured of blindness by this guy back in the day. So he's the real deal, which immediately goes ping, ping, ping. That's probably an angel. Anyway, Peter Holloway was going to help Amelia Novak, Jimmy Novak's wife, Claire Novak's mother, but she was never seen again. And then Cass takes Dean to the mall. They go to Hot Topic, and he picks out a birthday present for Claire because it's her 18th birthday, or like it was just her 18th birthday. She's 18 now, and she needs a birthday present. So he takes me to Hot Topic, and they pick out a little stuffed animal. It's a little cat with a big frown on it. He's a very grumpy cat, and he's gonna give it to Claire, and she's gonna love it because it looks just like her, and they have the same attitude, and it's so cute. And he brings it to her, and she opens it, and she seems to find it acceptable. This is the best day ever. I do genuinely think this is Cass's good day. This is Cass's good day. He got to hang out with Dean and do an interrogation, and did Dean take it a little far? Yeah, Mark of Cain, whatever. They got to do an interrogation together. They found helpful information. He got to take Dean to the mall. He found a good present, and then he got to give it to his daughter, and she didn't hate it. This is Castiel's best day ever. Ronnie, guy who sucks that knocked Claire out in an alleyway, turns up dead with a mark that looks like it could be from an angel blade, but it's got a little bit extra to it. Basically, they find out that what they are dealing with is a watcher angel, an angel with a little bit extra. He doesn't just have an angel blade, he has an angel sword. It's real long with an extra hilt to it. So we've got to go deal with that guy. Hopefully we'll find Amelia Novak, we'll save her, and also get rid of this angel who is, from what they can tell, trapping humans to siphon their soul energy from them. Ew. It would explain why nobody's seen Amelia in a long time. This guy did some actual faith healing to build up a reputation, and then that reputation brought him a couple of humans that he could just sort of keep. But Claire can't go with to investigate that because she's a baby, and Dean can't go with because he's a violent monster. So we're going to leave the two of them to hang out together while Sam and Cass go investigate this Watcher Angel situation, which does mean that Dean takes Claire mini-golfing. And it's so cute. We love co-parenting teenage girls that didn't want a new dad in the first place. Now she's got two, maybe three, if Sam wants to get in on it. He did teach her how to scam people out of their credit card information earlier this episode. At Peter Holloway's place, that's not his real name is Tamriel, but I'm gonna call him Peter Holloway. At Peter Holloway's place, the angel gets to drop on Sam. Sam's gonna be fine. Cass finds Amelia Novak. She's in a bad way. She's been here for 2 years. She is skinny and weak and just generally doing very rough. Her condition is bad. And then who else arrives at Peter Holloway's but Dina and Claire? Hey, Dean, keep our daughter out of this place. That was the one thing that you were supposed to do. But Claire does get to reunite with her mother. Originally, she'd been saying she wanted to find her mom to tell her off, to yell at her for abandoning Claire years ago, but you can immediately tell she just wanted to see her mom again. Kid's only 18. They just hug. They dissolve into each other. It's very sweet. And then, because we never get anything good for long, Peter Holloway comes to kill Claire with a sword. And who jumps in front of the sword? Amelia Novak. So Claire gets to hold her mother to her chest as her mother bleeds out. Castiel comes in time to take care of Mr. Peter Holloway, keep Claire safe. And in fact, when Peter Holloway's got Cass down on the ground and it seems like this might be Cass's last stand, Claire stabs Peter from behind with the big sword and saves Castiel. And then goes right back to crying over her mother's corpse. Amelia Novak dies, but she's reunited with her husband in heaven, leaving her 18-year-old daughter sobbing and traumatized and alone with just these three idiots. Sam, Dean, and Cass decide that the best place to send Claire would be to their friend Jody Mills, sheriff in South Dakota. Cass has never met her, but from what he's heard, she seems fine. And when she goes, she takes the Big Angel Sword, a book of Enochian myths, and a DVD copy of Caddyshack, and also a plushie of a very grumpy cat. She asks Dean to please keep an eye on Castiel, and then gives Cass a big hug, and then leaves. She's gonna be okay. A few days later, Sam calls Cass up to come to the bunker for a specific little mission. And what he needs is for Castiel to be the referee between Charlie and a witch named Rowena.
Well, what are the rules? If I'm gonna referee, I should at least know them.
Quite literal, aren't you?
Maybe my favorite Cass moment of the season. He seems so earnestly resigned. Like, did he think it was a sport? I love him. Charlie and Rowena are working together to decode this thing called the Codex that they can then use to read the Book of the Damned, and that is going to have the instructions on how to remove the Mark of Cain and save Dean. Cass has not been a part of this process, but he does have to hang out while Charlie and Rowena snipe at each other doing this work. He does try to bring them some food because clearly we're having some issues with blood sugar in this room, but they don't seem very appreciative. Eventually that kind of comes to a head and Charlie insists that she needs some privacy from this evil centuries-old witch. And Cass takes Rowena out of that room. Also learns Rowena is Crowley's mom. The Winchesters have just been working with Crowley's mom. Scottish witch Rowena doesn't even have time to process all that, figure out how he feels about that, because after they're done giving Charlie a little break and they come back, Charlie is gone. She's gone. And Cass can't follow up on her because he's babysitting this probably evil centuries-old witch. Can't leave her by herself. So instead, he just calls Sam and says, hey, Charlie's gone. Can you go figure it out? And when they go to try to figure it out, Charlie's dead in a bathtub. We just made that friend. She's been in the show for multiple seasons, but she befriends Cass, and 2 episodes later, she's dead. What the hell? Dean does not take the loss of Charlie well. Those guys were kind of besties. They were kind of silly little nerd besties, and it's always hard to lose somebody, but it's extra hard when it was somebody as, like, nice and generally uninvolved as Charlie. And great news, Charlie had managed to figure out how to read the codex. She decoded it right before she died, and she sent the notes along, so they've got that, but that's not the same as having Charlie. And Dean goes a little nuts and does a bunch of murder. See, the people who killed Charlie, it's a guy from the Stein family. They had the Book of the Damned. That was their thing. And so he went after Charlie to try to get the book, and he did a murder. So now Dean is going after the Steins to do his own murder. And he kills like 15 people in one building. Cass is now trying to hunt him down and get Dean to maybe stop doing that. Maybe stop giving yourself over to the evil mark on your forearm, potentially. When Cass does find him, Dean is just finishing dispatching like a kid. This guy's maybe 18 or 19. Meant Dean no harm, just kind of wrong place, wrong time, wrong family. And Dean takes him out like it's nothing. So we may have hit a line. Cass tells Dean straight up, you've got to stop doing this. You cannot continue on like this. We have to get rid of the mark. Because even if you resist the mark from here on out, that's making you immortal, right? You're not gonna live forever resisting it. Living forever makes the probability of anything go up to 100%. If you live forever, something is gonna happen at some time and you're gonna give into that mark completely. You are going to lose yourself to death, slaughter, and pain. And by the time that happens, it'll probably be after Sam is gone. It'll probably be after Claire is gone, after anyone that Dean knows and loves is gone, except for Cass. Cass is going to live forever too, and he is not going to live a forever in which he's constantly waiting for the day that Dean is gone and snaps, where Cass has to be the one to watch and Cass has to be the one to stop it. He's not doing that. Dean just needs to give in and help him and Sam out here. Cass tries to keep Dean from leaving this room, from leaving this conversation, to which Dean responds with incredible violence and beats Cass bloody on the ground. Dean gets Cass's angel blade in his hand. Cass isn't fighting back. Dean just finds the blade and stabs down, but he doesn't stab into Cass, just next to Cass's head, before leaving and saying that next time, he won't miss. They love it when these two fight each other physically, hand to hand. They especially love it when one of them is fighting and the other one isn't. They love no, this isn't you. Next time I won't miss. Yeah, all right, you old softy. Charlie broke the code of the Codex. Rowena can use it to read the Book of the Damned and figure out how to remove the Mark of Cain. Amazing. They only need 3 things, and then they can do the spell. They need something created by God, forbidden to man, something created by man, forbidden by God, and something that the spellcaster loves. Easy. They need the fruit from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. They need gold from the golden calf in the Bible. And something Rowena loves. This is introduced in the finale of the season. These things are all retrieved off screen by Crowley. We could have spent all season looking for the fruit from the Garden of Eden, gold from the golden calf, and figuring out how to find something Rowena loves when she insists she doesn't love anything. And instead it's maybe a third of one episode. Crowley gets the things. He gets the fruit, he gets the gold, and he gets a boy from forever ago, the only, person that Rowena actually ever loved. Not her own son, Crowley, by the way. She doesn't like that guy. His name's Oscar. She kills Oscar for them. She doesn't like it, but she does it. Crowley does make Castiel call him the king before he'll go get those things for him. Crowley's just lucky that Cass really wants Dean healthy and strong. Rowena breaks the spell. Dean is Mark of Cain'd. And they don't know this. Only Dean knows this. When you break that Mark of Cain, when you remove it, you invite in the darkness. So Sam and Dean, up on ground level, they just had a whole adventure. Dean just killed Death. Cass doesn't know about that. Sam and Dean are overtaken by this cloud of dark smoke rolling in. It looks like the dark curse from Once Upon a Time. But Cass doesn't know about that. And in fact, Cass doesn't know much of anything because Rowena is furious. She's furious. They just made her kill Oscar, the only person that she's ever loved. They've had her in chains, doing all this work for them. She's had to hang out with her son that sucks. She places a spell on Castiel. It's her signature. It's the attack dog spell. that makes blood pour from Castiel's eyes and sets him single-minded on Crowley. Rowena leaves with the book and the codex, and Castiel descends on the king of hell. And I just feel like she didn't really need a spell to do that. Castiel does not like that guy. I feel like she could have just said like the right 3 sentences and he would have gone after Crowley with his angel blade. Easy peas. He's wanted to kill that guy for a long time. He did not need the magical convincing, right? Anyway, Susan's fine. At least one good day for my man, so we take the wins where we can find them. Crazy that they tried to give him like another love interest and then really didn't commit to it at all. And then instead, they gave him a daughter who I love so much. I love Claire. I love you, Claire Novak. I guess I'll put Rowena on enemies before we go. Updated the mission as well. 1 season left for this part. Here we go. You know, months ago, I was scrolling on the internet and I saw this recipe somebody posted for a drink they made at home that they called the Mount and Dew Me. And it was Mountain Dew, green apple schnapps, and vodka. And I thought to myself, that sounds delicious. And I was right, as I always am. And I'm telling you this story for no particular reason. I hate this season. I hate this season really bad. Supernatural season 11 is not good. It's worse if you're Cass, and it's even worse than that if you're watching the show for Cass. They don't really give him anything to do, and they make him seem stupid and bad. And he's not stupid and bad. He's my special boy. This section might not be very long. I can kind of zoom through everything that he does. We'll see how frustrated I get. We'll see how rambly I get. So at the end of last season, Castiel was hit with the attack dog spell by Rowena, and it made him want death and violence, specifically on Crowley, but Crowley turned into black smoke and left. So now he's just kind of a little more violent, a little more out of control of his own faculties, which he does not like. It doesn't feel good. Castiel really does not like being out of control of himself, okay? Remember that. Put a pin in that. So he's gonna need some help to get uncursed, right? So who does he go to? His boys? No. For some reason, no. His boys have just released the darkness into the world, who appeared to Dean. Dean's the one who technically released her. She appeared to Dean as a human woman named Amara. She kissed him because she is so grateful for him releasing her that she kind of immediately developed a very strong attachment. And you know, can we blame her? We're not hypocrites over here. Corrupted from the first touch, yada, yada, yada. We get it. Tell Amara to try being a little more original, okay? Deeply, immediately pledging yourself to the righteous man, it's taken. It's been done. Cass doesn't know very much about the darkness, though. He doesn't have any good leads for them. And he also, like I said, does not go to them for help. He prays. He prays to angels for help with the curse. Why are we talking to the angels? When has that ever gone well? I'll answer for you. It's never. He is found by 2 angels who do not help him and instead torture him, mostly for no reason, for a full episode. They want to know where Metatron is, but the thing about that is Cass doesn't know where Metatron is. They fully put him in the brain screw angel torture headgear that I hate so bad. It's the most nightmare. Oh, I hate that thing. At one point in the torture, Hannah shows up. You remember Hannah in her new vessel, not the one that got returned to her husband. Hannah in her new vessel shows up and tells those other angels to, hey, cool it for a second. Let me talk to Cass. Me and Cass are cool. But Cass is a little unsure about talking to her because, hey, Hannah, are you friends with those guys? Those guys have been actively torturing me for a long time, and you kind of just walked in and gently shooed them away. Are you and those guys, like, cool? Because if you and them are cool, you and me? It turns out Hannah is, in fact, working with those guys. This was a coordinated good cop, bad cop maneuver in which Hannah is good cop. where she was going to come in and be so nice and normal and diplomatic, and Cass was going to tell her anything she wanted to hear. He was going to tell her Metatron's whereabouts. He was going to tell her about the darkness, because the darkness being released set off a bunch of alarm bells in heaven. And instead, Cass realizes what they're doing, and he's not going to talk to these people. That's so fucked up. Hannah, you are one of 4 allies on the list. Come on. The other angels get pretty mad that Cass won't share what he knows, even though what he knows is nothing. So they kill Hannah in front of him. Hannah, who, by the way, incredibly well respected in heaven. People like her. People know her. She was Castiel's right hand. And then when she willingly switched sides and went back to heaven under Metatron, she was given a position of power there as well. They can just kill her? No repercussions. 2 randos? I mean, there is repercussion. The repercussion is Castiel murders them very hard and very fast. Ally list is down to 3 people. Hey, chat, what does it mean when one of your only 3 allies in the whole world is a teenage girl that sort of tolerates you? Chat, are we good? Now he's going to ask his boys for help, which we should have done in the first place. Why are you dumb this season? Turns out that the boys think that maybe their best shot in finding Amara and finding the darkness is going to be asking God? God? Who Cass tried so hard to find for many seasons to no avail. The boys are like, well, maybe if we ask nice enough this time. Oh my God. Put your faith in something else, Mr. and Mr. Winchester, please. Hates that idea. They don't talk to him about it anymore. We need to uncurse Cass. And if we want to uncurse Cass, we're going to need the witch that cursed him in the first place. So we have to go find Rowena. They leave Cass behind while they do that. He leaves the bunker, he stumbles across some random human woman, and then the violence overtakes him and he almost kills a lady. Dean shows up, stops him from doing that, which means Cass gets to indulge in his favorite cursed pastime of all time, beating Dean Winchester bloody with his fists. Sam and Rowena show up. Rowena's at gunpoint, and she takes the curse off of Cass. It was 3 episodes of Cass under this curse that had no impact on the plot at all. No impact at all. The only actual thing that, happened because Cass was cursed is Hannah died. That's the only lasting effect at all. Also, Dean won't let Cass heal him after the fight because he considers them square now. Because Dean beat the shit out of Cass while Mark of Caned last season. Boys, have we ever thought about not paying our debts in blood? Have we thought about it? The Mark of Cain is gone from Dean. By the way, he's officially Mark of Caned. The Mark of Cain is on Amara, the Darkness. The Darkness who was incarnated as a human infant who Dean helped place into a lovely, loving family. And then she started growing up really quickly, incredibly rapid aging, and had a habit of eating souls, like sucking souls out of people. And then Crowley ended up raising her in hell. Cass doesn't know about any of that. This season is bad. The boys kind of go back to their regularly scheduled monster hunting, leaving Cass at the bunker just watching TV. Mostly he's been getting really into reality shows, like terrible reality shows, which actually makes a lot of sense to me because Metatron put every story into Cass's head. Every written work, every piece of fiction, Cass knows the plot to already. So it makes a lot of sense to me that he would end up kind of favoring that mostly unscripted flavor of dramatic reality shows. Not that that's why they have him do that in canon. It's so they can go, he's watching girly TV. But I get it. I see you. Cass doesn't really want to leave the bunker because it hasn't been going well for him lately. There was that him almost killing a random human woman just now while he was under the effect of the attack dog. I need to change our mission. And last season, when he left the bunker, he got beat up by Dean, who was all Mark of Cain. Leaving the bunker's not good. And also, what is he going to do if he leaves the bunker? Cass doesn't know anything about the darkness. He doesn't have any leads. He doesn't even know where he would go. And then, one day when he's watching TV, he flips to the news and catches a glimpse of Metatron. And you know who probably would know something about the darkness? Probably would know something. He was God's bestie back in the day. So Cass goes to find Metatron, who is still completely human and has recently gotten into journalism. He walks around with a camera and records bad situations, humans in distress, actively dying humans, so that he can then sell that footage to news channels. And that's how he scrapes together a meager living to sustain his miserable human existence. Cass starts punching the shit out of him because Metatron doesn't want to tell Cass about the darkness. And we solve that problem with our hands. Because Metatron can only start going on his like, oh, nobody even loves you. You don't even have anything. You're not who you used to be. He can only be talking like that so much when he's getting punched in the mouth. Metatron gives up. He tells Cass what Cass wants to know. Metatron does know about the darkness. The darkness is God's twin sister. They spawned into existence at the same time. And then in order to create the world, God had to banish his sister, the darkness, because he couldn't create being while the antithesis of being lived right next to him, right? So he made 4 archangels. That didn't count as being, I guess. And then he and the 4 archangels, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Lucifer, all worked together to banish the darkness away. Yeah, God has a twin sister. Her name is Amara, and she wants to smooch Dean Winchester. Cass lets Metatron go. Doesn't kill him because, God, what would be the point, you know? Sam and Dean did find Amara and hurt her real bad, but they're pretty sure she's not dead. So it's up to Cass to go check on that, see if she is dead or not. She's not. Cass meets another angel who's also checking out the situation. Her name's Ambriel. She's actually super sweet. She works in birth and death statistics, like keeping track of how many people are alive and who's alive and dead. So she needs to verify if the darkness is alive or dead. She's only on screen for like 2 minutes before Amara shows up, sucking her soul out of her face. Every time we get a nice one. Castiel attempts to defeat Amara in single-handed, hand-to-hand combat. It doesn't work, obviously, but you know, you gotta respect his willingness to try. And instead, Amara says, actually, Cass, I've got a super special mission for you. I have a message for you to pass on to your boys. And she burns the words, I am coming, into his chest, into his flesh, and then sends him on his way to go show the Winchesters. Now, the darkness getting released was a universe-shaking event, right? It made a bunch of alarms go off in heaven. It was felt everywhere, even in the deepest pits of hell, even in the cage. Lucifer's back. And Lucifer thinks he could probably defeat the darkness because he was there last time they did it. It just took him and his 3 most powerful brothers and his dad. And now all 3 of those brothers are dead. And his dad hasn't been heard from in, millennia. But he could probably do it. He remembers how they did it. So if somebody, Sam Winchester, would just give him a strong vessel, he could, help. They can trust him. It's just Lucifer. Sam says no. Obviously. And not only does Sam say no because he has a bunch of Lucifer-based and autonomy-based trauma, right? From season 5. We all remember season 5. When the show was good, Sam also says no because what Lucifer's saying is stupid and doesn't make any sense. No, Lucifer, you alone almost certainly cannot defeat God's twin sister. It took you, your 3 brothers, and your dad last time. Why do you think you can do it alone now? But in the confrontation with Lucifer, Lucifer looks at his little brother Castiel, while Sam and Dean are distracted. This is when just Lucifer and Cass are next to each other. Cass says, hey, were you serious about that? That you think you could defeat the darkness and that you're probably the only one that could do it? You think that? You think that for real? And Cass offers himself as a vessel. Oh my God. What? Why are you stupid this season? Castiel offers himself as a vessel for Lucifer. He does not tell Dean and Sam that he's doing that. So what happens is that there is now a Lucifer in disguise walking around, infiltrating the bunker and shit. In the Winchester's good graces. The thing about Cassifer, Lucifer and Cass's body, is that it's pretty much the rest of the season. And so Cass is not doing much. The other thing about Cassifer is that you can tell that Misha Collins is having the time of his life playing Lucifer. He is having so much fun.
Lucifer.
I'm back, baby.
I'll just say, Dean. That's not Cass! Cat's out.
How's it hanging?
Brothers! You exploded Jophiel.
Or did Jophiel explode himself? Just saying.
And I love that. I love that he's having fun. I love that you can tell that he's having fun. Cassifer is very fun to watch. But my boy, while Lucifer is in there, Cass can be aware of what's going on. Lucifer mostly kind of leaves him alone in the brain space. And Cass finds a safe space in his own brain, in his own mind palace, where he can kind of hole up and wait. Cass does not like not having autonomy. Cass does not like not having control over his faculties. He doesn't like lying to his boys, but he can't help here. Cass doesn't know anything about the darkness. He hasn't defeated the darkness before. He's not any more powerful than any other angel these days. He has no edge. He honestly fucks up everything he tries, right? So, fine. We'll hand over the reins. We'll give him to Lucifer. And then he won't bug Sam anymore either. And then Sam and Dean don't have to worry about that. It's fine. Cass will just find somewhere safe to hole up in his own brain where he doesn't have to think about any of that. Where he doesn't have to think about that somebody else is piloting him around. And he is so useless that he doesn't even deserve to have his own body. And he ends up in a Mind Palace version of the Men of Letters bunker, of the living room, just watching TV, just watching cartoons. So there's a lot that happens to Castiel's body that Cass simply isn't aware of. Like, he could be. He could tune into it, and he doesn't. Way easier not to, right? It's creepy to watch your brother pilot your meat suit around like a little mech. Like, does Lucifer almost kill Sam? Yes. Does Lucifer kill an angel? Yes. Does Lucifer just walk around being a giant piece of shit? Yes. After a while of being in the brain bunker watching cartoons, hanging out, Crowley shows up. Uninvited in the brain bunker, because it turns out the boys are trying to get Lucifer out of Cass, which Cass maybe could have anticipated them wanting to do. Maybe could have told them that this was the plan. Castiel does not want to interact with Crowley. He does not like that guy. He does not want that guy in his brain bunker. He lets brain bunker Lucifer kick the shit out of Crowley and send him away.
Guys, you're gonna break something.
Hey, so there's something that happens while Cass is being possessed and watching cartoons. And there is an episode called Don't Call Me Shirley where it is revealed who God is. God has been among us all along. The boys have already met God. They already know God. It's revealed in a scene with Metatron. Metatron in a little diner, okay? Walks into the little diner. He's like, whoa, where are we? And he sits down at a booth with Chuck Shirley, prophet of the Lord from season 5, author of the in-universe supernatural novels. He writes about Sam and Dean's lives and adventures, and he was kind of just a weird piece of shit, and I didn't like him at all. You remember that. And there's a whole scene of him and Metatron, my two favorite characters, having a 10-minute long scene in which Chuck reveals that he is and has been the whole time God. The Christian God. Do you guys remember how in season 5 there was that necklace? Dean's necklace was supposed to glow bright in the presence of God, and it never did. It never worked, and Dean ended up throwing it away, and it's a whole thing. God pulls it out of his pocket, and he's like, you want to know why this never worked? Because I turned it off. I turned off its ability to work because I'm God. Obviously. So God's here now. God's here now. And again, this is all happening while Castiel is like not present, doesn't get to interact. Lucifer gets kidnapped by Amara, who's torturing him and asking him to call for his daddy to come save him because he was always dad's favorite. Lucifer was, right? And in the end, God does show up to rescue them from Amara and heals Lucifer from the Amara torture wounds. Because Lucifer is, in fact, Daddy's favorite little boy. Lucifer and God get to have a whole episode of family therapy. Lucifer gets an apology. In the end, after a lot of pulling teeth, gets a full apology from his dad. He gets to understand a little more about why his dad did what he did, why Lucifer had to get banished. He doesn't like it. They're not happy. Not at all. But Lucifer gets confirmation directly from his dad that he was dad's favorite, that he is still dad's favorite, and he gets an apology. You want to know what Cass gets? How many times did Cass pray to that man? How many times in dire straits did Cass desperately look for a sign from his father? The world was ending. Multiple times. Lucifer got punished because he didn't love humans enough. You want to know who loves humans? Plenty. This guy. This guy would do anything for them, would bleed for them, die for them, kill for them, betray for them. And his dad couldn't spare him a phone call? He was there the whole time. Writing shitty books. Like, I can forgive the God not answering him if God is fully gone, right? But the second you're like, no, it's Chuck. Castiel does not get to speak to his father at all this season. They do not get to have a single interaction. I'm not putting God on the allies list. Chuck Shirley is no ally of mine. Castiel does get summoned to the front like it's the fucking movie Split at one point. Is that the name of the movie? The one with little Professor X and he's bald? You know the movie. Team Free Will came up with a great plan to try and defeat Amara. And the thing about it that's crazy is the plan isn't just sick God on her. The plan is that they need everybody. Because originally it took God and 4 archangels, remember? Remember how dumb it was that anyone ever believed that Lucifer could do it by himself? But we don't have 3 other archangels, do we? And whose fault is that, Lucifer? Did something happen to Gabriel? So instead, we will need to call on all the powers possible. Every angel, every demon, every witch. So kind of Crowley and Rowena are on our side now. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you something. Metatron died. Metatron died holding off evil forces to save Sam and Dean, and Cass wasn't even there. Cass didn't even get to watch Metatron die. The injustices continue to pile up. Crowley and Rowena are sort of allies right now. I feel a little weird about shifting them into full allied territory, so I'm gonna leave them down there for now. We're kind of frenemies at the moment. Main and really only enemy That's the darkness, that's Amara. So we need every angel, demon, and witch to come together to defeat the darkness. And to convince the angels to help, Lucifer pulls Castiel to the front and is like, you tell them. You tell them to come work with us. They don't like me. Gonna kinda how I'm the devil from the Bible. And Cass, he gives him his best pitch of, hey, I don't like working with Lucifer either, but him and God, they're gonna work together to defeat the darkness. And all you had to say is God's back, dude. Lucifer could have just shown up and been like, hey, Dad's home. I know literally all we've wanted for millennia is for Dad to come home. He's home. He's got a new job for us. You didn't even have to bring out Cass. It was a weird humiliation thing to make Cass beg and plead for their help. So the angel army's gonna help. They're gonna do some smiting. The demons are gonna do some demon work. The witches, headed up by Rowena, are gonna do some witchin' work. And everybody works together as one to try to defeat Amara. And they fail. They fail really bad. They fail so bad that she turns around, looks at Cassifer directly, and pulls Lucifer out of Cass's body and just banishes him into the aether. Unharmed. She can still just do this. After all of that power on her, she can still just go, boop, and pull an archangel out of a vessel and then bounce. Also, Dean has been fully unable to bring himself to hurt Amara all season. All season. It's been such an issue that Dean won't hurt the darkness. You wanna know what he does the second she puts her hands on Cass's vessel? Not even Cass yet. It's still Lucifer in there at the time. He lunges for her bodily, hands out. Which could mean nothing. Which probably means nothing.
That was a complete and utter dog's breakfast, wasn't it?
I didn't know dogs had breakfast.
Cass is back.
Season finale is called Alpha and Omega, by the way. I feel like Supernatural in particular should know better than to name things that. So, Amara's still out there, and God is dying. Chuck is fully dying because of how badly that went. She has changed something, flipped something in the coding. He's dying. And because he's dying, the sun is dying. The sun is fading. And now we're in Project Hail Mary, which, let's talk about some good media. We're not in Project Hail Mary. We're in season 11 of Supernatural. Cass apologizes to Dean for being stupid and thinking it was a good idea to be Lucifer for the entire season. And Dean responds by calling Cass his brother. Dean means well. Dean means well. That's the best thing you can be to Dean. Dean takes family very seriously, so that's good. It's a good thing to be called. Yes. New plan to destroy Amara. We need souls. We need human souls. Human souls are very, 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 very powerful. If we get enough human souls, then surely the witch can do something with them, create some sort of bomb, soul bomb, to blow her up. And that's pure light, baby. If anything is going to destroy the darkness, it's got to be that. Castiel goes to ask the angels in heaven if they could please lend him some souls to save the world and also their dad. And the angels in heaven say, no. Nope. Dad is dying? Wow. Seems like there's nothing we can do about that. They choose instead to die with dignity. Locked up in heaven. Very cool, guys. Every single thing about the angels just confirms that we should never talk to them again. Castiel should simply cut those guys off. They have never done anything for him. Crowley can't get his hands on any souls either, so instead what they end up doing is getting help from their Reaper friend Billy, who pulls a bunch of souls from the veil, like hundreds of thousands of them, and hands them off to Rowena, who can, in fact, make a little bomb. But they're going to have to get them really close to Amara, and the only person that Amara trusts at all is Dean. So after a whole season of being unable to hurt Amara, it has to be Dean. It has to be Dean. He has to push through whatever this is and do this. But the other issue is Dean isn't just going to be throwing a soul bomb at her. He is going to be the soul bomb. He is going to approach her, do this with his hand, and explode. And when he explodes, he will take the darkness with him. Castiel almost immediately asks Dean if he wants Cass to come with. Castiel will gladly go with Dean on the Dean Explodes mission, just so Dean doesn't have to die alone. It would absolutely kill Cass as well. 100%, no questions asked. He is just offering to go on this suicide mission so that Dean doesn't have to do it by himself. Dean says, no, that's okay. Appreciate it. But if Cass does that, then there won't be anybody to watch Sam. And Sam is gonna need somebody after this. So that's Cass's job after this. After the darkness is defeated and Dean is gone, it is going to be his new life purpose to keep Sam Winchester from killing himself. Dean goes on his mission. So then Cass and Sam and Crowley and Rowena and Chuck all go to a pub. What an awful group of people to drink with. Cass doesn't even talk to them. He sits at a table all by himself the whole time. His dad is sitting across the room that he still has not said a word to, no interactions with. He's 10 feet over there and they're ignoring each other. At some point, Chuck vanishes from the pub, just blips away. And shortly after that, the sun goes back to full luminosity, telling them that Dean must have done it. The sun is fixed. It's not dying anymore. Presumably, God is dead, and the darkness is dead as well, and then there's a balance. So that's fine. There isn't one overtaking the other. But that does mean Dean is dead. Dean's not dead. We're just ending another season where Cass thinks Dean is dead while he's not. Dean actually just had a heart-to-heart with the darkness and the Lord, and kind of convinced them to give being a family another try. And they just held hands and ascended to heaven together. And Dean's fine. They took all the souls out of him. He's good. This season is so stupid. Not knowing any of that, Sam and Cass go back to the bunker to cry. Cass tries to do a little heart-to-heart, like, hey, I'm here for you. We can talk. What do you need? And then when they go into the bunker, there's a random lady in their bunker with a British accent, and she just immediately turns around, slaps her hand on a banishing sigil, and sends Cass away. And that's the end of this season? That's the end of the season. What did he do this season? Was cursed. Watched Hannah die. Curse got cured. Nothing else happened because of the curse. Spent a little bit of time with Dean, being like, hey, that stuff with Amara is weird, huh? Why don't you think that's weird? And then gave up his body to his older brother, watched a lot of cartoons, presumably that his brain made up. I don't know where he was getting the cartoons from. Maybe it's just the stories that he got from Metatron. He's finally experiencing them. Watched a lot of cartoons, asked a bunch of angels to pretty please join his cause. They did. Asked a bunch of angels to pretty please join his cause again. They didn't. Sat 10 feet away from his dad while choosing just not to do anything about that. And offered to kill himself along with the righteous man, was rebuffed, got banished. That's it. But Misha Collins was having so much fun. Cassifer was such a little shit. He was so much fun. Okay, I'm not here for Cassifer. I'm here for my boy. I just have to remind myself that the next part of this, Cass gets to have a kid for like most of it. He has an adult baby son who looks like an exact cross between himself and Dean Winchester that he gets to love and raise and put all his worry into. That's what I have to hold on to. This whole season, I was like, oh, but I get Jack soon. I haven't watched any of the seasons with Jack yet, but I know I get him soon. Hey, you guys want to see what I got? Yeah. Are you surprised? Because you probably shouldn't be. Now I just have two cardboard cutouts of ominous white men in my home. I'm under siege. They are friends. Oh my god, look at them. Well, I guess that was season 11.
You gave me what I needed most. I want to do the same for you.
Mom?
Thank you so much for joining me for the second part of my Cass adventure. You'll notice this video was called Castiel is still the only character in Supernatural. I think the next one is going to be Castiel is always the only character in Supernatural to finish it off. There is going to be just one more part of this, seasons 12, 13, 14, and 15. Seasons I've never seen any of. I am scared. I am nervous. I am already upset. That's not going to be the next video on this channel. We're going to do Amanda the Adventurer lore, and then I believe we're going to be doing Once Upon a Time Season 7. We're going to finally close that chapter, even though the idea of that makes me feel kind of weird and squiggly inside. I think it's time. Also, this channel is so close to 100,000 subscribers, and at one point in the distant past, I made some sort of promise that when I hit 100,000, I was going to watch Merlin, a show I've never seen. So if you have any particular thing that you would love for me to do with Merlin, let me know. My instinct is to just dedicate myself to the Merthyr agenda immediately and basically just go through the whole show looking for all the evidence that they are in love instead of caring about the actual plot of the show. We'll see. I'm workshopping. Let me know what you think. Also, I did have a brief thought in my head of getting a tattoo for 100,000. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I have my next tattoos already planned and booked. And they're not for that. But I will say, I do think I know why Sam and Dean like having their possession tattoos so much, and it's because it's really fun to just go like this. Ha-ha, tattoo. Whoa, tattoo. Obviously, this one's fake, so it's super faded and whatever. But I'm not getting a real one for 100,000 subscribers. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That would be silly. I'll get a real anti-possession tattoo if Misha Collins personally tells me to. Maybe. It's still a maybe. But you know what? As much as I would love Misha Collins' support in this endeavor, I've already got a lot of support, baby. I've got some of the best supporters there is. I already have my patrons on Patreon, my personal little heavenly host, and they're a lot nicer to me than a certain heavenly host that I could mention. So I am going to take this opportunity to thank my patrons such as Alcyon Hero, Ulsa Dragon, Artemis Nix, Ash, Autumn Vector, Blar Dihar, Britty, Chatty C, Chadwick Rains, Dan, Catherine, Kazran, Christopher, Rainbow O'Neill, Rue, Steph Delacour, 60623, Taylor White, The One Without Ideas, Tiffany, Vesper Sinclair, Z-Series, Zachary Fly, Zebby Lown, T, Adeline, Aiden Sowood, Notoriously Low Roller, Alex, A Pretentious Potato, Argentum Inc., Avery Jack Thayer, Avery Little, Barto Hawk 764, Beard Acknowledge, Brooklyn Spears, Butch Cavalier, Cadaver Kane, Chronic Escapee, Claire Oswald Fan 23, Clark Hamza, Coraline, Kuste, Dove the Cat, Draco Knight, Fresh Cider, Fukaru, Gael Wald, Gralnock, Haley Walker, Hippie Sabotage, Ibuki Miyoda, Idizzle22, Jelly Guy, Jubilina Bing Bing, Kay, Keverlin C, Kit of the Weird Woods, Clara, Lawson, Leland, Libby, Mariah Ray, Matt Hebert, Michael Francis, Michael West, Mrs. Gabsalot, Nanners, Ollie D, Philip Dameron, Princess Penny Douglas, Rat Scratch, Raise from Ash, Sage occasionally, Scribbles, Sarah Sunshine, Sunsquid, That Boy Eats Rats, The Ace Apples, Violet Sweeney, Windermere Peaks, Woody Daniel, Zachary Wayman, Zeph Lordicus, and Zim Zalabim Zim Zim Zalabim Zim Zim Zalabim Zim Zim, as well as every other name that you have seen scrolling past. Thank you all so much. And even if you're not on that list and you're just here hanging out with me, thank you so much. Just watching this, especially to this point, baby, that is enough support for me. Not enough for me to get a tattoo about it, I wouldn't say. But I appreciate you anyway. Thank you so much for coming on this journey. I hope that I'll see you on the next part. And I also hope that I'll see you on the next video. Bye! Can I tell you guys something absolutely crazy? A crazy thing that I didn't even intend for. You know how I've got now just 2 men haunting my home back here? I've decided they're friends. Don't they look so friendly? I made a mistake when I ordered Cass. I don't know how I did this. But when he arrived in the mail, there were 2. I have a second Castiel. What on earth am I supposed to do with a second Castiel? I hardly know what I'm supposed to do with the first one. I got him as a bit. And now I have 2? What? Do I just have 2 Casses and a Rumpelstiltskin in the background? I'm going to look unwell. This is not the office decor of a man who is to be trusted. This is ridiculous. What do I do with him?